Chapter 31:18. Although Zhu Yuanlong's cultivation was strong, and had reached the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, he was probably just cannon fodder on the Eternal Emperor Road. The most important thing on the Eternal Emperor Road was the heart of an expert. Only with the heart of an expert would one be qualified to compete with the geniuses of the myriad of worlds, and the countless geniuses since ancient times. Zhu Yuanling was afraid that he was not qualified to step on the Eternal Emperor Road. However, the Pig Devil clan was still very useful. As the largest clan in the demon realm, the Pig Devil clan had a population of hundreds of millions. When they spread out, they could not only gather all kinds of information about the demon realm, but also the myriad of worlds. Therefore, following Darkness Lingxiao's order, Zhu Yuanling had already mobilized the Pig Devil clan to go to various places to gather information. Darkness Lingxiao left the Pig Devil clan with Fairy Yu Yao and the others. The Eternal Emperor Road is about to open. The 10 sects of the demon realm will probably take out their most precious resources to raise the cultivation of the saints and saintesses. You should go back. Darkness Lingxiao looked at the four of them and smiled faintly. Although Fairy Yu Yao and the others were not as good as Darkness Lingxiao, they had been tainted by the aura of the Chaos Demon clan. Not only had they been reborn, but their talents had also become more terrifying. They could also be considered as part of the Chaos Demon clan. If they returned to the 10 sects of the demon realm, and obtained the resources of their sects, their cultivation would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. "Husband, where are you going?" Fairy Yu Yao asked. "I want to see if those ancient geniuses are qualified to be my opponents." Darkness Lingxiao smiled faintly, a strong fighting spirit surging in his eyes. He was ready to test his sword on the world. The demon realm was in chaos now. The 10 sects of the demon realm could not even take care of themselves, especially with the emergence of various ancient geniuses. Even the primordial demon sect and the blood prison demon sect had no time to chase after Darkness Lingxiao. Darkness Lingxiao wanted to test the strength of those ancient geniuses. Only in battle could one quickly improve and break through. "Husband, you have to take care." Although Saintess Yuanling was very reluctant, she still nodded and said. They all knew that if they wanted to catch up to Darkness Lingxiao, they had to go back. With the resources of their sects, their cultivation might improve by leaps and bounds. At that time, if they could step on the Eternal Emperor Road, they might meet Darkness Lingxiao. "You two, cultivators like us should prioritize the Great Tao. Of course, I hope to see you on the Eternal Emperor's Road, but if you don't want to, I won't force you," Darkness Lingxiao said with a faint smile. His gaze had a rare gentleness. He glanced at Fairy Yu Yao, Yuanling Holy Maiden, and Holy Maiden one last time before turning around and leaving without a trace of reluctance. The three women's eyes dimmed. They understood what dark soaring sky meant. If they didn't even have the qualifications to step onto the Eternal Emperor Road, then there was no possibility between them and dark soaring sky. "Let's go too. He is a heartless person. If we can't catch up to him, we will only be abandoned by him," Fairy Yu Yao said with mixed feelings as she looked at dark soaring clouds back. "I will step onto the Eternal Emperor's Road," Saintess Yuanling said seriously. "Me too," the Holy Maiden of the Light nodded. "The devil is finally gone," Demon Monarch Yu Hua muttered in her heart, but she was completely relieved. If Darkness Lingxiao was still here, she would still be extremely worried. She didn't know when Darkness Lingxiao would find her an eyesore and kill her. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The four women leaped into the sky, turned into 4 divine rainbows, and flew in 4 different directions as if they had a great tacit understanding. Darkness Lingxiao went on his way alone. He wanted to go to the forbidden, dangerous, and hopeless places of the demonic realm to find the whereabouts of the ancient sky prides and battle them. Darkness Lingxiao treated this as a rehearsal for the Eternal Emperor Road. He wanted to sweep through the crowd, step onto the Eternal Emperor Road with an invincible stance, and become the most dazzling sky pride of the demonic realm. He, Darkness Lingxiao, was the only demon lord. Not only the demonic realm, but the other realms also began to experience great turmoil. As if alarmed by the mysterious aura, ancient sky prides who were sealed in the various realms awakened, each of them releasing a powerful aura without restraint. They fought with each other endlessly, and before they even set foot on the Eternal Emperor Road, there were already bloodshed, causing the heavenly secrets of the various realms to become more and more chaotic. Especially the Divine Realm, Demonic Realm, Immortal Realm, Demon Realm, and other top-ranked Greater Thousand Realms. Supreme sky prides from a few eras, or even dozens of eras ago appeared one after another. In the chaotic void, there was no concept of time here, nor was there any concept of space. There was only an expanse of nothingness that was suffused with chaotic mist. However, on this day, a green lotus appeared amidst the chaotic mist. That green lotus looked crystal clear, and was surrounded by chaotic light. It slowly bloomed, causing the world to lose its color in an instant. Thousands of rays of light, thousands of auspicious colors. The green lotus had a total of 36 petals. The petals were crystal clear and resplendent, and they slowly parted to reveal a man in green robes sitting cross-legged on the lotus throne in the center. The man looked incomparably mysterious, and the aura around him was incomparably powerful. A mysterious emperor aura pervaded the air, and his face was handsome and exquisite, more beautiful than a woman's. He had a peerless temperament that caused the world to lose its color. He slowly opened his eyes, and two brilliant beams of light shot out from his eyes, instantly piercing through the void, and causing the chaotic space to tremble. His eyes were ancient, mysterious, and majestic, flowing with the light of endless time. My name is Emperor Qing. A few ancient and obscure syllables came out of his mouth, causing blazing lightning to flash in the surroundings. Eternal Emperor Road, I am supreme. He stood up from the lotus throne, barefoot and untainted by a speck of dust, and stepped into the chaos. The chaotic green lotus instantly turned into a stream of light, and flew into his glabella. Then, it left a lotus mark on his glabella. After taking a few steps, he completely disappeared from the chaotic space without leaving a trace behind. In the endless starry sky, there was a desolate region. There were broken planets here that were tainted by the aura of death, and all life would completely disappear here. Moreover, there were sword-shaped mountains that pierced through the sky, as if they were slanted on the planets. They were incomparably sharp and intertwined with chaotic sword intent. However, in the center of the sword-shaped mountains, endless sword chi intertwined. There were millions of broken swords densely embedded in the ground, and it was extremely chilling. This place was called the Stellar Sword Tomb. The Sword Tomb. It was rumored that a sword emperor had fallen here, and later it became a sword tomb. At the same time, it could attract countless broken swords from all over the universe. As time passed, this place became the Stellar Sword Tomb. Chapter 31:19. A figure was sitting cross-legged in the middle of the Stellar Sword Tomb. Violent Sand Literature Network. It was a black-clothed young man with an ordinary face. However, his eyes were extremely pure and sharp. He was exuding a vast sword intent. If Ling Xiao was here, he would definitely recognize him. Duguqiubai. Just like Ling Xiao, he ascended from the war god world, and later became the young master of the Hero Alliance in the Divine World. Duguqiubai was known as a man born for swords. When he was a mortal, he had comprehended the sword intent of life and sword intent of destruction. During the final battle against Demon King Bo Sun, he had provided great help to Ling Xiao. No one had expected him to be in the Stellar Sword Tomb. Rumble. His sword intent was surging violently. His entire body was exuding a vast devouring power. Behind him, there seemed to be a transparent sword. It was mysterious and unfathomable, and it was emitting a shocking amount of power. There were millions of broken ancient swords in the Stellar Sword Tomb. Some of them were divine weapons, sacred weapons, and even broken emperor weapons. Within the Stellar Sword Tomb, the sword will within the ancient swords did not dissipate. Instead, it condensed into a mysterious sword will storm because of this desolate region. It was incomparably terrifying, capable of tearing everything apart. Duguqiubai's terrifying devouring power had completely devoured the sword intent storm. His aura was like the Emperor of Swords. The millions of sword intents around him bowed down, and were willingly devoured by him. Duguqiubai did not know how long he had been sitting in the Stellar Sword Tomb. His aura was getting more and more terrifying. His cultivation was getting stronger, and his sword intent was getting purer. Rumble. When all the sword intents in the stellar sword tomb were devoured by him, he seemed to have turned into a sword. He exuded a dazzling light. The terrifying aura seemed to be able to destroy everything. It spread out in all directions. The indestructible origin sword body is finally formed. Duguqiubai murmured to himself. His cultivation had reached the second heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Blazing lightning flashed around him. Vast heavenly might filled the air. It was a type of world-destroying lightning tribulation. It was as if a heaven-defying object had been born. And the target of the apocalyptic thunder calamity was none other than Duguqiubai. The path of Eternal Emperor is about to open. From ancient times until now, countless chosen of the heavens have gathered. They are my true opponents. Ling Xiao, you should be ready, right? Duguqiubai murmured to himself, as if he didn't even look at the apocalyptic thunder tribulation in the sky. He stepped out and walked out of the stellar sword tomb. A strand of resplendent sword chi flew out of his palm, turning into a streak of divine light that was tens of thousands of meters long. The apocalyptic lightning tribulation that filled the sky was destroyed by his sword. Bathed in the thunder and lightning, Duguqiubai's figure disappeared into the lonely starry sky. Demon realm. Blazing lightning flashed, as magnificent as a mountain range, emitting a world-destroying light, locking onto the two figures below. A black goat and a handsome Taoist priest. The black goat exuded a terrifying devouring power. Behind it, a gigantic beast that was 1,000,000 feet tall appeared, devouring the heavens and the earth. It was terrifying beyond compare. That was Tao Tai, the true form of the old goat. It was absorbing the tribulation of heaven and earth, wanting to use it to condense the devourer physique. And the Taoist priest was none other than Taoist Wuliang. Taoist Wuliang looked like an immortal with an extraordinary temperament. The aura around him was ethereal and mysterious, with a mysterious clear chi exuding from him. After absorbing the thunder and lightning in the sky, he became closer and closer to the nature around him. Taoist Wuliang was from the Taoist clan. Ever since he had obtained the inheritance of the Tao race, his entire being had been transforming towards the great Tao body, especially the supreme creation he had obtained this time. The thunder and lightning in the sky were his and the old goat's support. Rumble. Beyond the thunder and lightning in the sky, there was a mysterious figure. It was an old man in white robes. His hair and beard were white, and his face was kind. His eyes shone with vicissitudes and wisdom. In his palm, there was a ball of purple light that was constantly exuding, flying into the bodies of the old goat and Taoist Wuliang. The ball of purple light exuded a kind of connate chi, as if it was the power that separated the heavens and earth. It accelerated the process of condensing the devourer physique and the great Tao physique. Boom. Boom. After the old goat and Taoist Wuliang had absorbed the ball of purple light, an incomparably mysterious and powerful aura was released from their bodies at the same time. The thunder and lightning around them were dazzling. They were bathed in the thunder and lightning in the sky, and their auras became ancient and majestic. The devourer physique and the great Tao physique were complete. Very good. You have been training in the primordial space for 10,000 years. Now that you have merged with the primordial purple vapor, your cultivation has finally reached the great Tao physique. Not only have you broken through to the second heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, but you have also condensed the devourer physique and the great Tao physique. Now, you are qualified to enter the Eternal Emperor's road. The old man with white hair and beard said slowly, with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. He was the master of the Devourer Mountain, Emperor Devourer Mountain. He was also the old goat's master, and one of the only two Taotai ferocious beasts left in the demon realm. Emperor Devourer Mountain was extremely ancient, and had lived for countless years. It was said that he was a figure from the previous era. No one knew his true age. However, he was a true peerless imperial emperor. Thank you, master. The old goat's eyes were filled with gratitude. In order to improve his and Taoist Wuliang's cultivation, Emperor Devourer Mountain had taken out his lifetime savings and foundation to allow them to enter the primordial space and speed up time by 1,000 times, allowing them to cultivate for 10,000 years. The primordial purple vapor was Emperor Devourer Mountain's most precious treasure. Now it had merged into his and Daoist Wuyang's body. Thank you, Emperor Devourer Mountain. Daoist Wuyang bowed respectfully and said, Don't thank me. You should thank yourselves. Although your talents are not weaker than those ancient sky prides, your accumulation is not as good as theirs. With the Devourer physique and the Great Tao physique, you are qualified to compete with them. Emperor Devourer Mountain waved his hand and said, However, even if you step into the Eternal Emperor's road, you need to keep a low profile and constantly improve yourselves. Only when you reach the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, the pinnacle of your origin, will the Devourer physique and the Great Tao physique shine brightly. Do you understand? Emperor Devourer Mountain glanced at the old goat and Daoist Wuyang. Don't worry, master. Both of us are very obedient. We won't cause any trouble. The old goat chuckled. That's right. Emperor Devourer Mountain, don't you trust us? If others don't offend us, we won't offend them. The old goat and I will definitely keep a low profile. Daoist Wuyang said with a smile. Both of you. Forget it. Do as you wish. However, if there is any danger, you still have to find Ling Xiao as soon as possible. He is the chosen one. If you follow him, you won't be killed so easily. Emperor Devourer Mountain shook his head speechlessly and said with a wry smile. The old goat and Daoist Wuyang looked at each other. It seemed like Emperor Devourer Mountain still did not trust them. What a joke. Even if those ancient sky prides were to appear, would they be able to crush them? However, Emperor Devourer Mountain was right. Finding Ling Xiao was the most important thing. Speaking of which, they did not know how Ling Xiao was now. They missed Ling Xiao a little. Chapter 3120. Divine World Origin Source Sea. 9 huge stone tablets stood in the middle of the Origin Source Sea, each exuding a vast emperor aura. A young man in golden armor sat cross-legged in the middle of the Origin Source Sea, inhaling and exhaling vast Origin Source power. Within the 9 stone steels, mysterious and vast emperor auras intertwined, like divine chains of order, wrapping around the young man. Above his head, the power of providence rose like a sea of clouds, transforming into all kinds of mysterious scenes. Chaotic light gushed out from his body, and within the power of providence, there seemed to be countless ancient ancestors walking out of the hardships, singing and jumping, constantly improving themselves, exuding powerful spiritual fluctuations. As if he had been blessed by countless ancient ancestors, the man in golden armor looked even more majestic and mysterious, exuding the aura of a king. Rumble. Blazing lightning surrounded his body, and each lightning bolt was like a lightning dragon, presenting all kinds of mysterious scenes. His aura was vast and unparalleled, as if he had merged with the entire Origin Source Sea. His physical body was crystal clear, like glass, pure and flawless. The 9 huge stone tablets and the entire Origin Source Sea were like an oven, tempering his physical body. This tempering seemed to have lasted for a long time. When the Origin Source Sea suddenly shook violently, a mysterious and vast fluctuation swept out, and the man in golden armor suddenly opened his eyes. A bright light beam instantly pierced through the void. His eyes were mysterious and majestic, as if they could see through everything, but at the same time, there was a kind of indifference that looked at all beings as ants. Is the Eternal Emperor Road about to open? He said softly. That's right. The immeasurable calamity is coming, and the only way to survive is the Eternal Emperor Road. If you want to transcend the shackles of heaven and earth, you must step onto the Eternal Emperor Road. Zhao Ritian, that's where you have to go. An old voice rang in his ears. The Eternal Emperor Road, Ling Xiao should be going, right? The man in golden armor was Zhao Ritian. There was a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. The successor of the textless Heavenly Sutra will inevitably step onto the Eternal Emperor Road. But your destiny is different from his. Now that you have inherited the destiny of the human race and gathered the essence of the divinity, you are destined to become the sovereign of the human race. You are the true 10th sovereign of the human race. Second uncle sighed softly. Second master, I don't want to inherit the destiny of the human race. I just want to defeat Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao is the chosen one. I think he's more suitable to take on this mission, Zhao Ritian said with a bitter smile. However, the 9 emperors of the human race chose you, second uncle said slowly. I think the 9 thearchs of the human race must have seen wrongly. Why me? Even though I, Zhao Ritian, have unparalleled talent, I don't think it's my turn to be the 10th human emperor, right? Even if it's not Ling Xiao, what about human sovereign Jiang Yiyang? Zhao Ritian said gloomily. Human sovereign Jiang Yiyang, he originally had the chance to become the 10th human sovereign, but he was born at the wrong time and missed the best opportunity. Therefore, he is only the human emperor and cannot become the 10th human emperor. Second uncle explained patiently. If that's the case, all right. Whether I can become the 10th human emperor or not, I think Ling Xiao won't be my match after I come out of seclusion this time, right? I'll take this opportunity to teach him a lesson. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with eagerness. Previously, second uncle had brought him to the origin source sea of the divine world. Only he, Zhao Ritian, could come here. Not only was he the son of the heavenly emperor, but he was also recognized by the 9 emperors of the human race. That was why he could be recognized by the origin source sea. In the origin source sea, Zhao Ritian's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. Not only did he break through to the imperial emperor realm, but he also refined the strongest origin source body with the help of the 9 emperors of the human race. 9 emperor origin bodies. That's right. Zhao Ritian's physical body had not only merged with the origin source energy left behind by the 9 emperors of the human race, but he had also gathered the destiny of the human race to form the 9 emperor origin bodies. This was the strongest origin source body of the human race, carrying the hope of the 9 emperors of the human race. From then on, Zhao Ritian's physical body was not only indestructible and indestructible, but he could also use the supreme emperor skills of the 9 emperors of the human race at will. It could be said that Zhao Ritian was the representative of the 9 emperors of the human race. His 9 emperor origin bodies had reached perfection, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the 3rd heaven of the imperial emperor realm. He was only 1 step away from the 4th heaven of the imperial emperor realm. Therefore, he was eager to find Ling Xiao and avenge his humiliation. Ritian, your opponent is not only Ling Xiao, but also the Star Sea, the myriad worlds, and the countless geniuses since ancient times. Second uncle smiled faintly and said, the Eternal Emperor Road this time is different from the past. It's the most tragic and terrifying Eternal Emperor Road in the past 108 eras. Legend has it that the Eternal Emperor Road this time not only has the opportunity to become an emperor, but also the secret of transcendence. The secret of transcendence? That's right. The secret of immortality that countless great emperors have been pursuing for their entire lives. As long as you can transcend, everything in the universe, time, and space will no longer be restricted. You can travel the river of time, cross the myriad worlds of the universe, and become immortal. Second eldest uncle's voice also contained some complicated fluctuations. The secret of transcendence? Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up immediately. So being a great emperor is not the limit. Transcendence is eternal? Looking at Zhao Ritian's eager expression, second uncle smiled and said, the secret of transcendence is not that easy to obtain. For the past 108 eras, there have been so many talented great emperors. Who has been able to transcend? Although there is such a legend in the Eternal Emperor Road, you have to face those talented geniuses from the ancient era. Their cultivation is stronger than yours, their accumulation is deeper than yours, their vision is broader than yours, and their understanding of the great Tao is deeper than yours. It will be a great challenge to defeat them. Challenge? I, Zhao Ritian, love challenges the most. However, second uncle, I have a feeling that only Ling Xiao and I can reach the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. Perhaps we will have the ultimate battle there. Zhao Ritian said nonchalantly. Instead, his eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. You think too highly of Ling Xiao. He is not as good as you. Second uncle shook his head and said. Second uncle, we have come all the way from the God of War realm. You should know Ling Xiao's potential better than I do, right? In the myriad worlds, Ling Xiao is the only one that I, Zhao Ritian, consider as my opponent. Zhao Ritian smiled proudly. That's because you don't know. I'm afraid he won't be able to reach the end. Second uncle sighed in his heart. However, he did not say it out loud. However, seeing that Zhao Ritian was brimming with fighting spirit, he felt extremely gratified. Zhao Ritian would definitely shine brightly in the Eternal Emperor Road. Chapter 31-21. The Eternal Emperor Road was the only chance of survival before the immeasurable calamity arrived. According to the evil spirit in Ling Zhao's body, when the immeasurable calamity arrived, all the worlds would fall into a state of emptiness. Billions of living beings would die, and the world would be bathed in blood. That would be the most terrifying moment. When that time came, everything would cease to exist. Even great emperors would be turned into ashes under the immeasurable calamity. Therefore, countless living beings were fighting for the chance to transcend. This time, the Eternal Emperor's Road was the most bitter, cruel, and powerful one in the past 108 epochs precisely because the secret of transcendence would appear. Rumble. All the worlds in the universe seemed to be trembling slightly, forming a mysterious resonance with each other. Strange ripples spread out, causing the heavenly secrets of the myriad worlds to become even more chaotic. Large-scale killings occurred in all the worlds. Prodigies fought against each other, and countless living beings died, emitting strong resentment. The resentment gathered, forming the calamity of a world. In a place where no one could see, the power of calamity gradually gathered, as if an incomparably illusory road was about to appear from the void. That illusory road ran through all the worlds, leading to the unknown depths of chaos. Endless starry sky. A huge black beast, like an immemorial divine mountain, was millions of feet tall. It lay on a huge sun, swallowing the essence of the stars. Its body was pitch black, but there were holy white spots flashing. It looked mysterious and immortal, and its body emitted a terrifying aura that could devour the heavens and the earth. Every time it breathed, the surrounding void would tremble, and the starry sky would darken, then regain its brightness. Billions of rays of starlight gathered around it, making it look like a resplendent sun. I am the Kuanpeng, destined to dominate all the worlds and become the supreme ruler. Eternal Emperor Road, who else but me? A slightly childish voice came from the huge beast's mouth, like thunder, exuding endless pride and confidence. Rumble. It suddenly opened its mouth and swallowed with all its might. It was as if a huge black hole had appeared. It was incomparably terrifying and could devour everything. It swallowed the sun in one gulp. Its wings suddenly spread out like clouds in the sky, covering the river of stars and shrouding the endless darkness. With a sudden shake, boundless astral winds swept out in all directions. Its incomparably huge figure turned into a black bolt of lightning, instantly shooting into the depths of the starry sky and disappearing without a trace. Lava World. This was a world that had been destroyed because of the war between emperors. There was lava everywhere and spatial cracks that could tear everything apart. The raging flames burned forever, causing this world to be devoid of any life force. It was completely dead silent. Powerful cultivators from the surrounding worlds would come here in search of natural treasures. However, on this day, at the very center of the lava world, endless lava gushed out, and blazing flames rose. A huge figure shrouded in endless flames walked out of the lava. He was 30 kilometers tall, and his entire body was covered in blazing flames. His eyes were like the sun, and they flickered with a bloodthirsty, crazy, and cold aura. As soon as he appeared, the flames of the entire lava world seemed to burn with him, causing many powerful cultivators to tremble in fear. Their eyes were filled with extreme fear. Oh no! It's the legendary sealed lava giant. Let's go. The lava giant has appeared. This world is about to rise again. Go back and report to the emperor. Those powerful cultivators were at least in the Saint realm. One by one, they instantly leaped into the sky, wanting to tear open space and leave the lava world. Rumble. At this moment, the lava giant slammed his palm across the sky. A huge palm print covered the sky and earth, shrouded in blazing flames, instantly covering an area of 1,000,000 miles. Those powerful cultivators had no chance of escaping at all. They were instantly smashed into powder by the palm, and then burned into ashes by the raging flames. You destroyed my home and killed my people. All of you deserve to die. The lava giant let out a roar that sounded like a tsunami. His eyes were filled with bone-deep hatred. The Eternal Emperor Road has opened. Wait until I sweep through the heavens and become a great emperor. Then, I will settle accounts with all of you. The lava giant looked up at the void, where endless tribulation chi was gathering. Vaguely, a mysterious passage to the world seemed to have opened. He did not stop at all. After venting his anger and killing all the cultivators in the lava world, he leaped into the sky and entered the endless tribulation chi. The underworld. This was an incomparably mysterious greater thousand world. Even more so than the immortal realm. No one knew where it was. Legend had it that countless eras ago, there was a peerless genius of the underworld tribe who became the emperor of the underworld. He had the secret reincarnation technique, and comprehended the great Tao of reincarnation. He wanted to deduce the 6 paths of reincarnation, establish order for heaven and earth, and turn the underworld into a resting place for all living beings. From then on, the living would have a place to return to after death, and the dead would have an end to reincarnation. But in the end, the emperor of the underworld failed. Since then, the underworld tribe went into seclusion, and did not appear in the world. The Eternal Emperor Road is about to open. It's time for the underworld tribe to come out. In the underworld, there were figures shrouded in black robes. They were extremely strange, and only their ghostly eyes could be seen. They were arranged in a phalanx like an army, as if they were about to go to war. Her Highness the Holy Maiden has found a place to reside in. She has found that person and seized his destiny to welcome her back. The Holy Maiden will inherit His Majesty the Emperor of the Underworld's unfulfilled wishes. She will open the 6 paths of reincarnation, and obtain the heavenly merit. She will lead the underworld tribe to become the epic lord, and reclaim the glory of the past. Let's go. In the underworld, the ghostly fire in the eyes of the black-robed figures flickered with fanatical worship. They lined up neatly and stepped into a mysterious void passage. Ferocious beast despair. This was a mysterious continent located in the chaotic void. Legend had it that it had once nurtured countless primordial beasts. However, due to a great battle, many powerful beasts had died here. Their blood dyed the continent red, and their shattered primordial spirits nourished all living beings. Ferocious chi shrouded everything, turning this place into a desolate region. However, at this moment, at the very center of the ferocious beast despair, countless primordial beasts seemed to have awakened. They let out earth-shattering roars. An extremely ugly young man was sitting cross-legged in the middle of a huge blood pool in the ferocious beast despair. The blood pool seemed to have gathered the essence blood of countless beasts. At this moment, it was gushing into his body, making his physical body stronger and stronger. The rising blood chi seemed to be able to destroy everything. It was extremely terrifying. Chapter 31:22. It's so painful. Old man, are you trying to kill me? The ugly young man's face was distorted. Because of the extreme pain, he was sweating profusely. He screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Kill my ass. If I wanted to kill you, I would have strangled you when I took you in back then. Yi Liangchen, you bastard. You don't want the fortune that others dream of? Don't you know that this is the 10,000 spirit beast blood pool? Only here can the Zhou Tian Great Star Formation in your body be completed? Beside the blood pool, a sloppy old Taoist wearing a tattered Taoist robe said in disappointment. What 10,000 spirit beast blood pool? Other than making me suffer for dozens of years, my cultivation did not improve at all. Old man, I seriously suspect that you are deliberately messing with me. Ah. It hurt so much. Yi Liangchen howled miserably. His voice was filled with resentment. Anyone who had suffered here for dozens of years would not be able to stand it. It was a kind of pain where one's body was torn into countless pieces, and then bitten by countless ants. It was even accompanied by the shattering of the primordial spirit. It was a process repeated countless times. Yi Liangchen did not go crazy from the torture. His willpower was extremely strong. Previously, the sloppy heavenly master told him that he would bring him to a place to obtain the ancient fortune. As long as he could endure it, he would be reborn and step into the imperial emperor realm. He came over excitedly. Moreover, he jumped into the 10,000 spirit beast blood pool without hesitation. He looked forward to the day when he would be reborn and invincible in the world. However, what he did not expect was that what followed was endless pain. In this 10,000 spirit beast blood pool, he suffered for dozens of years, but his cultivation did not improve at all. Until now, he was only in the great sage realm. You bastard, I am doing this for your own good. The cosmic star's formation in your body is innate and blessed by fate. Logically speaking, after absorbing the blood essence of the ominous beasts, you should be able to transform into the ominous beast's origin. Why did you take so long to absorb it? Is there something wrong with the records in this incomplete book? The sloppy heavenly master muttered to himself in confusion. Hearing sloppy sky sovereign's words, Yi Liangchen almost fainted from anger. This rotten old man is very bad. You don't even know if the fragment you have is feasible or not, and you want me to jump in and suffer? Moreover, this was a few decades. Yi Liangchen had relied on his last breath to hold on. Now that he heard the words of the sloppy sky sovereign, he felt that he could not hold on any longer. He wanted to scold someone. He had to scold this rotten old man. But right at that moment, something strange happened. Rumble. The 10,000 spirits blood pool suddenly began to boil. This huge pool of blood with a radius of tens of thousands of meters began to boil like a surging sea. Beads of blood floated up like stars, turning into terrifying shadows of ancient beasts in the void. As the blood-red light rose, the shadows of the ancient beasts became more and more real, as if the ancient beasts were about to come back to life, exuding a mighty peerless emperor's aura. Yap Liangchen and Sloppy Heavenly Master were so scared that they almost peed their pants. These ferocious beasts were at least at the Imperial Monarch realm. If they were to be revived, then they would probably be able to slap them to death. What should I do? The smile on Sloppy Sky Sovereign's face froze. He felt very flustered and did not know what to do. Rumble. Right at this moment, Yi Liangchen's body suddenly emitted a dazzling light. Mysterious and abstruse runes rose from his body. In the sky, there seemed to be 360 supreme stars that appeared and gathered together. The starlight was vast, and a terrifying power rose as if it could tear everything apart. Zhou Great Star Formation. Zhou Great Star Formation appeared around Yi Liangchen, exuding an ancient, mysterious and powerful aura, making Yi Liangchen become incomparably dignified. Rumble. Those condensed ancient beasts seemed to have sensed some kind of summoning, and quickly flew towards Zhou Great Star Formation. To be exact, they flew into the 360 stars. Yi Liangchen's aura began to soar instantly. Early Great Saint Realm. Intermediate Great Saint Realm. Late Great Saint Realm. Great Saint Realm Perfection. Sage King. Peak Sage King. Supreme Sage King. Heavenly Sovereign. Yi Liangchen's cultivation seemed to have no bottleneck. It soared rapidly from the Great Saint Realm to the peak of the Heavenly Sovereign Realm. Crack. In the chaotic void, endless lightning gathered. The Imperial Emperor Tribulation had descended. Haha. I knew it. You will definitely be able to condense the 10,000 beasts' origin body. My hope that was once shattered by others has finally been realized by you. Yi Liangchen, you must cultivate well for me. Whether you can sweep through all the heroes on the Eternal Emperor's road depends on you. The sloppy Heavenly Sovereign began to laugh maniacally. As he laughed, his face was already covered in tears. He looked like he was crying tears of joy. After being here for decades, Yi Liangchen could not hold it in anymore. Wasn't he also at his limit? In order to pursue that slim hope, he not only staked his own fate, but also Yi Liangchen's fate. If it were not for his encouragement and laughter, Yi Liangchen would not have been able to persevere. Fortunately, he did it. Yi Liangchen did it too. At this moment, Yi Liangchen did not hear what he said at all. Otherwise, he would have laughed at him again when he saw his sorry state. Yi Liangchen was already enveloped by the Imperial Emperor Tribulation. However, Yi Liangchen's Imperial Emperor Tribulation could be said to be the easiest. The Zhou star formation around him gathered the blood essence of hundreds of millions of fierce beasts. The lightning tribulation that filled the sky fell and struck the blood essence of the fierce beasts. On the contrary, It destroyed the murderous aura and obsession within, turning into the purest energy that merged into Yi Liangchen's body. Behind Yi Liangchen, a divine dragon that was 1,000,000 feet long roared and soared into the 9 heavens. There was a huge 3-legged golden crow that burned the world and swallowed the sun. There was an incomparably intelligent Bai Zhe sitting alone on the peak of a mountain, and deducing the truth of the great Tao. There was a Taotai that devoured the heavens and the earth. There was a Qiongqi that fought bloody battles in all directions. There was a Jiuing that dominated the netherworld. All sorts of mysterious scenes appeared behind Yi Liangchen. He sat cross-legged in the void. His originally ugly face looked incomparably dignified at this moment. The aura around him erupted in a mighty manner. He was like the lord of all beasts. The all beasts' origin body is complete. The sloppy heavenly master muttered to himself. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. From now on, Yi Liangchen also had the qualifications to step into the Eternal Emperor's road. He had the qualifications to compete with the countless geniuses of the various worlds since ancient times. The All Beasts origin body will definitely shine brightly on the Eternal Emperor's road. The sloppy heavenly master muttered to himself. He raised his head and looked into the depths of the void. It was as if he could see the illusory and mysterious ancient road slowly taking shape. Chapter 31-23. P.S. In the previous chapter, Yi Liangchen was indeed in the Sage King realm, and the slovenly Taoist was in the Imperial Emperor realm. Mu Yu remembered wrongly and has corrected it. Thank you for your correction. Rumble. In the endless chaotic void, blazing lightning flashed, revealing a mysterious 9-colored light. In an instant, it pierced through heaven and earth, shattering the void. Outside the myriad worlds, endless murderous aura rose, and the power of tribulation gathered, forming an illusory and majestic path. At this moment, the mysterious 9-colored lightning pierced through the void for hundreds of millions of miles. Each bolt was as thick as a mountain, enveloping the path. Crack. As if the world was being split open. The void in all directions shook at the same time, and the myriad worlds trembled. Therefore, all the living beings in the myriad worlds saw an incomparably mysterious scene appear in the sky. The 3,000 great Taos were like 3,000 divine chains of order. At this moment, they actually materialized and intertwined with each other, condensing a dazzling light that illuminated the myriad worlds. The 3,000 great Taos materialized, and in an instant, like a torrent, they surged into the illusory great Taos. The boundless power of tribulation surged, and the illusory great Taos gradually solidified. Boom. In the end, the myriad worlds shook at the same time, and the chaotic void spewed out chaotic light. The great Taos instantly pierced through the myriad worlds and rushed into the depths of chaos. Like a dazzling golden bridge, it emitted endless dazzling light. The Eternal Emperor road has opened. In the myriad worlds, all the geniuses and demonic beasts were devoured. At this moment, all the living beings raised their heads at the same time, and the same thought appeared in their minds. The Eternal Emperor road had opened. This meant that the most heroic, cruel, vast, and powerful journey in the 108 eras had begun. Countless powerful beings rested their heads on their weapons as they rubbed their palms together. Those supreme geniuses who had awakened from their seals had eyes filled with an invincible battle intent. This was a journey that was destined to be recorded in the annals of history. To be able to return from the Eternal Emperor road, even if they did not make it to the end, they would be able to obtain countless opportunities. Among them, the geniuses could even prove their Tao and become emperors. Especially the legendary secret of transcendence. It made everyone's blood boil, and they were all unable to control themselves. The Eternal Emperor road has opened. Quickly find the passage. If you can enter the Eternal Emperor road first, you will be able to obtain more opportunities and opportunities. Someone shouted and instantly soared into the sky. Rumble. The vast Eternal Emperor road, mysterious and immortal, pierced through the myriad worlds. After appearing in front of everyone for a moment, it disappeared again. However, everyone knew that the Eternal Emperor road had opened, and the most important thing now was to find the passage to enter the Eternal Emperor road. Every greater 1,000 realms had a node that connected to the Eternal Emperor road. After a moment Emperor rode. The Eternal Emperor rode without the slightest bit of hesitation. The Eternal Emperor rode the Emperor. The Eternal Emperor rode. They went to find the passage to Eternal Emperor's road. Even though they knew that death, blood, mountains of corpses and seas of blood lay ahead, they did not hesitate at all. This was the power of the universe. They believed, the Realm Emperor rode the Emperor. That was a kind of invincible aura. Only then would they be qualified to step on the Eternal Emperor road. What a group of lovely young people. Without fear in their hearts, they can be invincible in the world. They have limitless possibilities. It's as if I can see endless hope from them. An incomparably old emperor sighed softly, his eyes full of emotion. That's right. They are the hope of our world. We are old and have fear in our hearts. Even if we step on the Eternal Emperor road, we will only be cannon fodder. The only thing we can do is to protect their home. The great calamity of the new era is coming. Who will be able to take the lead? In the era of great battles, the geniuses will compete. Since ancient times, countless geniuses have awakened, and they are all aiming for the secret of transcendence. The secret of transcendence? How difficult. I don't expect them to obtain the secret of transcendence. I only hope that one or two of them can prove their Tao and protect our race in this chaotic era. The opening of the Eternal Emperor road stirred up all the worlds. The originally chaotic myriad worlds had become strangely calm. Even those geniuses who had grudges against each other had given up on fighting. Instead, they focused on finding the passageway and stepping onto the Eternal Emperor's road. Immortal world, immortal demon grotto. The immortal demon grotto was still a huge whirlpool, spewing out endless blazing immortal and divine light. However, the space within was distorted and time was in chaos. It seemed to lead to a strange world. Outside the immortal demon grotto, the ninth prince was still sitting cross-legged in the immortal emperor chariot. His face was blurry, but there was an invincible aura about him. Behind him, there were 8 figures with terrifying auras. There were both men and women, and each of them exuded an air of arrogance. Their bodies were full of emperor aura, and their expressions were incomparably cold. Each of them was an immortal lord who had formed their body of origin. Their strength was unfathomable. They were the 8 immortal lords under the 9th prince. All 8 of them were peerless geniuses of the eternal immortal dynasty. They were supreme experts who could dominate a region. However, they had been subdued by the 9th prince and became his followers. Every single one of them was a high-level celestial high immortal. After all, even Taiyuan was not qualified to become the 9th prince's follower. This showed how harsh the conditions were. Originally, the 9th prince had hoped that Ling Xiao would become his 9th immortal lord, but Ling Xiao had rejected him. Other than the 9th prince and his followers, there were also some geniuses of the eternal immortal dynasty, saints and saintesses of the 9 great immortal sects, and self-proclaimed supreme experts. Among them was a figure with a terrifying aura. His Highness great-grandson. His Highness great-grandson still looked cold and arrogant. He wore a dragon robe and a jade crown on his head. His figure was extraordinary, and his aura was unfathomable. His expression was indifferent, and his eyes constantly scanned the crowd, as if he was looking for something. Your Highness great-grandson, that Lei Ling is not here. We have investigated and found out that he is not a member of the immortal tribe. His true identity is that of the human tribe, the heaven's chosen one Ling Xiao. An old man with white hair and beard beside his Highness great-grandson said slowly, "The heaven's chosen one Ling Xiao? Very well. This way, when I kill him and take his fortune, I will be the heaven's chosen one. I believe that he will definitely enter the Eternal Emperor road. When that time comes, I will settle all the old and new debts with him." His Highness great-grandson said coldly, "Your Highness great-grandson, you must not be careless. Although you have obtained the first prince's cultivation and his supreme treasure, Ling Xiao has the Chaos Supreme Treasure, the wordless heavenly book. Now he even has the Chaos Supreme Treasure of the divines, the cauldron of creation." The old man reminded him. Chapter 31-24. Chaos Supreme Treasure? In the Eternal Emperor road, We can only rely on our own strength to fight. The stronger the treasure, the greater the suppression. Even an extreme-grade Emperor weapon's strength is weakened by half, let alone an extreme-grade Emperor weapon. If he dares to bring it here, I don't mind changing the owner of the wordless heavenly book in Cauldron of Creation. His Royal Highness Great Sun sneered. Seeing how stubborn His Royal Highness Great Sun was, the old man stopped persuading him. It seemed like he hated Ling Xiao to the core. After all, His Royal Highness Great Sun was arrogant, but he was killed by Ling Xiao. If not for the resurrection treasure of the eternal immortal dynasty, he would have died long ago. If he did not kill Ling Xiao, His Royal Highness Great Sun would have an inner demon in his heart, which would be detrimental to his cultivation. Rumble. When the distorted spacetime in the immortal demon cave became clear again, the passageway was completely opened. Everyone's eyes shone brightly. They were filled with excitement and fighting spirit. Let's go. On the immortal emperor chariot, the 9th prince's indifferent voice rang out. Swoosh. The 8 immortal lords bowed at the same time. They then soared into the sky and pushed the immortal emperor chariot into the passageway. Seeing that the 9th prince had taken the lead to enter the eternal emperor road, the rest of the people did not hesitate. They instantly soared into the sky and rushed into the eternal emperor road. The eternal emperor road was the land of creation and the land of epics. It was also the land of chaos, the land of lawlessness, and the land of slaughter. Although they had entered the eternal emperor road through this passageway, no one knew where they would appear. On the eternal emperor road, not only did they have to constantly kill and destroy the sneak attacks of the strongest, but they also had to find the real path to enter the final destination. Just as the eternal emperor road opened, Ling Xiao, who was in the Hall of Gods, opened his eyes. Buzz. 2 dazzling light beams pierced through the void, blazing and dazzling. Ling Xiao stood up from the ancestral god mountain peak. He was dressed in snow-white robes and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were bright and resplendent, and his entire body exuded an ethereal and mysterious aura. After sitting alone on the ancestral god mountain's peak for 10 years, Ling Xiao had used the vast providence of the god race to break through to the 3rd heaven of the immortal emperor realm. His primordial immortal body had reached perfection. However, the most important gain was that the 16 fruits of Wei in his body had become perfect and flawless. They had completely become a part of him, allowing him to control the vast power of the origin of the great ways with a wave of his hand. As the eternal emperor road opened, Ling Xiao lifted his head and looked into the depths of the void. There was a strange look in his eyes. He seemed to be able to see the depths of the endless chaos. The eternal emperor's road that was shrouded by 3,000 great Daos seemed to lead to a mysterious world. It's time for me to leave, Ling Xiao muttered to himself. After 10 years of development, the Hall of Gods in front of him had begun to develop immensely after the bloodline shackles of the entire god race had been lifted. His cultivation base skyrocketed, showing a state of eruption. Countless geniuses of the god clan emerged one after another, gradually revealing the powerful potential of the clan that was once the #1 clan in the world. Ling Xiao believed that it wouldn't be long before the god clan would give him a big surprise. This was especially true for the 120 divine generals led by Zhang Chun, Wu Hen and Tung Shan. Each of their cultivation bases was rapidly improving. Ling Xiao had no intention of taking them to the Eternal Emperor Road. They had accumulated enough. There was no shortage of resources in the Hall of Gods. That was why they could improve so quickly. The Divine Clan Seal and the Cauldron of Creation floated in the void. These 2 supreme treasures of the God Clan were incomparably terrifying. The Cauldron of Creation could extract immortal matter and origin energy from the immortal world. This was no different from snatching food from the Longevity Tower's mouth. The fortune of the God Clan was like a vast sea of clouds. As the boundless immortal matter and origin energy surged in, the 1 billion God Clan members' cultivation base improved faster and faster. With the Divine Clan Seal, the Cauldron of Creation, and the protection of the 5 great sect masters, the Hall of Gods is very safe. Even a great emperor would have a hard time breaking through. It's time for me to go. Ling Xiao swept his gaze over the Hall of Gods one last time, then took a step forward and soared into the sky. He could sense that the 5 great sect masters had already discovered his awakening. However, the 5 great sectmasters did not come. The 5 great sectmasters had mixed feelings about Ling Xiao. They were all peerless imperial emperors. It was impossible for them to submit to Ling Xiao so easily. However, they could sense that Ling Xiao's cultivation base was improving every day. Now it was even more unfathomable. This made them feel a little apprehensive. They all believed that it would not be long before Ling Xiao would surpass them. In that case, they might as well not meet him. Farewell, Lord Divine Master. Farewell, Lord Divine Master. At the foot of the ancestral mountain, 120 divine generals knelt down and bowed to Ling Xiao's figure at the same time. Their voices were as loud as thunder. They watched Ling Xiao leave with fanatical eyes. They looked forward to their Lord Divine Master conquering the myriad of worlds and sweeping away all the sky prides. One day, the Eternal Emperor Road would return in glory and lead them to rebuild the heavens. Ling Xiao did not turn back. The corner of his mouth revealed a faint smile. His eyes instantly became incomparably sharp, and a shocking battle intent erupted. He left the Hall of Gods, tore through the void, and directly entered the immortal demon cave. Master, I'm afraid the other worlds have not found the node of the Eternal Emperor Road yet. You've gained a great advantage by entering the Eternal Emperor Road from the immortal world. The evil spirit's voice rang in Ling Xiao's mind. Do you know anything about the Eternal Emperor Road? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. Rumble. He entered the passage of the immortal demon cave. Blazing light flickered around his body. The scene in front of him changed and looked extremely strange. A faint trace of anticipation grew in his heart. However, the evil spirit was incomparably excited. It was as if it could not wait to enter the Eternal Emperor Road. Ancestor God Shura and Tai Xian are both geniuses who had once stepped onto the Eternal Emperor's Road. They had also reached the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road. The Eternal Emperor's Road is chaotic and disorderly. It's different every time. Only some information is useful. Master, I will tell you slowly. However, there's one thing. The evil spirit's voice was a little hesitant. What is it? Ancestor God Shura and Immortal Emperor Tai reached the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road and discovered that it was a vast sea of chaos. Vaguely, it seemed to be connected to an ancient world. However, this was only their guess. After all, they had never entered it before. The evil spirit said, The Eternal Emperor Road leads to a world? Ling Xiao's heart trembled. That's right. It's an untouchable world. Unfortunately, there's no road at the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. Otherwise, they would have gone to explore it. I'm guessing that the so-called secret of transcendence is likely to be in that untouchable world. The evil spirit said slowly. Devour. Chapter 31:25. The secret of transcendence is in that world? What proof do you have? Ling Xiao frowned. He suddenly felt that the evil spirit wasn't being honest. He didn't know how many secrets this guy had, but he didn't tell him the truth. As if sensing Ling Xiao's thoughts, the evil spirit hurriedly said, Master, please don't misunderstand. I'm just an evil spirit after all. I only have the fragmented memories of Ancestor God Shura and Immortal Emperor Tai Yi. I only knew some information after the Eternal Emperor Road opened. Get to the point, Ling Xiao said coldly. Because according to Ancestor God Shura and Immortal Emperor Tai Yi's later discoveries, every time the Eternal Emperor Road opened, the end of the road would be the Chaos Sea. There were also others who discovered that untouchable world. That's why I guessed that this time, the Eternal Emperor Road would definitely open in that world. The secret of transcendence is very likely to be there, the evil spirit hurriedly said. In that case, we'll have to fight our way to the end of the Eternal Emperor Road first, right? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. His eyes instantly flashed with a glimmer of light. Rumble. In front of them, a dazzling light flashed and an incomparably strange space appeared. Ling Xiao left the passage and stepped onto the Eternal Emperor Road. There was a faint mist of chaos all around. The world was vast and dark. There was no sun or moon. No one knew where the light came from. However, in the distance, there were broken ancient stars. Most of them were dead and silent. There was no sign of life. The road under Ling Xiao's feet pierced through the chaos and extended into the distance. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao was surrounded. They were strange people with octopus heads and human bodies. They held black demonic blades in their hands. Their eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. Their long tentacles were constantly twisting and they looked very disgusting. Not bad. I didn't expect a fat sheep to appear as soon as the Eternal Emperor Road opened. This kid looks so soft and tender. If we catch him, we can definitely sell him for a good price. The octopus monster leader sneered. His eyes were filled with incomparable cruelty. Master, on the Eternal Emperor Road, there will be some strange races and creatures. They are cruel by nature and born with the power of darkness. Most of them are extremely evil. They especially like to capture geniuses from all over the universe. There's no need to show mercy to them. Evil Spirit asked Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao nodded, expressing his understanding. However, what surprised him was that although these octopus monsters looked disgusting, they were not weak. They were all imperial emperors with emperor's aura lingering around them. There were more than 10 imperial emperors. If it were any other genius expert, they might have been captured. I'll give you a choice. Join me and be my guide, and I won't kill you. What do you think? Ling Xiao smiled and looked at the leader of the octopus monsters calmly. Rely on you? Ha ha ha. Brat, looks like you still don't understand your situation. Did he really think of himself as a genius? Little ones, catch him. However, don't hurt this brat. His skin is soft and tender. Her Majesty likes this the most. The leader of the octopus monsters was stunned for a moment before it burst into laughter. Its eyes were full of mockery. The surrounding octopus monsters also laughed along with him. Following the leader's order, the octopus monsters seemed to have been prepared. Immediately, a large black net fell from the sky. It flickered with a black light and instantly enveloped Ling Xiao. There were some barbs on the black net that flickered with a dark light. They were extremely sharp and were about to pierce Ling Xiao's body. They contained an extremely strong anesthetic power. The octopus monsters had cold smiles on their faces. It was obvious that they had done this countless times. Once the net was out, Ling Xiao would have no choice but to surrender. The anesthetic was extracted from Her Majesty's body. An Imperial Emperor expert could not resist at all, and would instantly faint. Ling Xiao was only a third heaven Imperial Emperor. He could not resist at all. However, what surprised them was that after the black net enveloped Ling Xiao, the black barbs pierced Ling Xiao's body, producing the sound of metal clashing. Sparks flew everywhere, and not even a white mark was left behind. Needless to say, they pierced Ling Xiao's flesh and paralyzed him. Is this interesting? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Then he grabbed the black net and tore it apart. Boom. The black net released a blazing light like a twisted poisonous snake. It seemed to be extremely intelligent. Black runes rose and tried to resist Ling Xiao's tearing. However, under Ling Xiao's unparalleled divine power, the runes on the black net exploded with a loud bang. The entire black net exploded in front of Ling Xiao and turned into dust. Rumble. Dark Ling Xiao's blood rose and emitted a terrifying and dazzling light. He was like an ancient giant beast that had been born. The octopus monster leader's heart trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. That was the net woven from Her Majesty's tentacles. It was extremely tough. Only an extreme great emperor weapon could break it. However, Ling Xiao had torn it apart with his bare hands. A bad feeling arose in his heart, and he hurriedly roared. Kill him for me. Rumble. Black light rose from his body. The octopus monsters around him recovered from their shock. Ferocious light flashed in their eyes as they slashed at Ling Xiao with their ghost head sabers. The black saber radiance wailed like ghosts and howled like wolves. It was a terrifying sound that could cause one's primordial spirit to collapse. It was extremely strange. The saber radiance swept out from all directions and enveloped Ling Xiao. Clang clang clang. Ling Xiao did not block at all. The sharp saber radiance slashed at Ling Xiao's body. However, it only left a white mark. It did not even break Ling Xiao's skin. What? The octopus monster leader's eyes were filled with disbelief. He was extremely terrified. Is he still human? His physical body was even more terrifying than an ancient giant beast. Such a terrifying person would be the most dazzling peerless genius on Eternal Emperor Road. How dare they target such a person? He was extremely flustered. The eyes of the octopus monsters were also filled with panic. Too weak. How dare trash like you block my path and rob me on Eternal Emperor Road? Ling Xiao shook his head. There was a trace of disappointment in his eyes. Rumble. The blood energy around him surged. His eyes were sharp and unparalleled divine light swept in all directions. In an instant, the octopus monsters were sent flying. Ling Xiao threw out a punch. The void exploded. The domineering and terrifying fist print pressed down like a mountain. A few octopus monsters were directly blown apart by his punch. The remaining octopus monsters wanted to escape, but none of them were able to dodge Ling Xiao's tyrannical fist. In just a few breaths of time, apart from the leader of the octopus monsters, everyone else was killed by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the octopus monster leader. The octopus monster leader trembled. His legs gave way and he fell to his knees. Sir, don't kill me. The octopus monster leader stammered. His eyes were filled with terror. Chapter 31-26. Although this group of octopus monsters were all immortal emperors, they were only low-level immortal emperors. How could they withstand Ling Xiao's invincible fist mark? Without a doubt, they had all died in Ling Xiao's hands. Moreover, they had all been blasted apart. However, it was very difficult for the octopus monsters to accept. Their prey had suddenly become the hunter, and all the octopus warriors had been killed. The octopus monster leader was almost scared to death by Ling Xiao's glare. Therefore, without any hesitation, he knelt down. For the living beings on the Eternal Emperor Road, there's only life and death. What honor and disgrace is there? Only by surviving can one have unlimited possibilities. Only the geniuses of the various worlds would value their honor more than their lives. The evil spirit explained. Ling Xiao nodded. Although he had not experienced the tragedy of the Eternal Emperor Road, he could understand. Do you want to live or die? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. I want to live. I want to live. Sir, please spare my life. I'll do anything you ask. The octopus monster leader bowed and begged for mercy. His eyes were full of flattery. Answer my question obediently and I won't kill you. Why are you here? The nodes of the Eternal Emperor Road should be randomly teleported, right? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. Sir, you don't know. When the Eternal Emperor Road opens, the node passageways of the myriad worlds may be randomly teleported, but when they are teleported, a strange phenomenon will appear. Her Majesty the Empress has calculated that this is a node passageway, which is why she has us wait here. The octopus monster leader quickly said. So that's how it is. How many people have you caught while you were guarding this place? Where have they been taken to? Ling Xiao nodded and said. Although it was randomly teleported, there must be many geniuses in the immortal world who had entered the node passage. There should be many people who had been teleported here with him. Sir, we have only caught 3 people before you. They have been sent back and handed over to Her Majesty the Queen. The octopus monster leader said honestly. How many people are there in the octopus clan? What are their strengths? Who is this Her Majesty the Queen? Ling Xiao asked. He had just stepped onto the Eternal Emperor's Road, and needed to obtain some information in order to prepare for the upcoming battle. Countless geniuses stepped onto the Eternal Emperor's Road. Even though the Eternal Emperor's Road was vast and boundless, there would always be a day when they would meet. If they could learn more, they would have the upper hand. My lord, our octopus clan has a total of more than 3,000 people. Only a little more than 100 imperial emperors have formed a hunting team to hunt challengers for Her Majesty the Queen. Her Majesty the Queen is our queen and our mother. She gave birth to us. As for Her Majesty's cultivation, according to what all of you said, she should be at the 9th level of the Imperial Monarch realm. The octopus monster leader said honestly. There are more than 100 imperial emperors among the 3,000? Ling Xiao's heart trembled slightly. If that was the case, then the octopus clan was truly a powerful clan. As for the queen of the octopus clan, she was actually at the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. This surprised Ling Xiao. A peerless monarch was considered an overlord on the Eternal Emperor Road. My lord, as long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to tell you everything about the Octopus clan. I'll even tell you about Her Majesty the Queen's weakness. The octopus monster leader gritted his teeth and said, Her Majesty the Queen's weakness? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed brightly. That's right. My lord, you might not know this, but the reason why there are so few people in our octopus clan is because we are all Her Majesty the Queen's children. Her Majesty the Queen is an ancient giant beast, an octopus monster. Although she's powerful, she can't transform. Moreover, Her Majesty the Queen is about to give birth to a child. After that, she'll enter a period of weakness and her strength will be greatly reduced. As long as you kill Her Majesty the Queen, you'll be able to obtain her origin pearl. That's a complete heavenly filth origin pearl. The octopus monster leader said hurriedly. He was very respectful and there was a strange hint of temptation in his voice. Heavenly filth origin pearl? Is that it? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed brightly. He stretched out his hand, and there were dozens of black Dao fruits in his palm. They shone with a bright and mysterious light, and were filled with the aura of the great Dao. These were the Dao fruits of the octopus monsters that he had killed. However, the Dao fruits contained very little origin Dao, and were even a little incomplete. Therefore, Ling Zhao didn't refine them. That's right. That's it. However, we're all Her Majesty the Queen's children. Although we've also condensed heavenly filth origin pearls, they're not as perfect as Her Majesty the Queen's heavenly filth origin pearl. If my lord obtains Her Majesty the Queen's heavenly filth origin pearl and assimilates it into your body, your cultivation will definitely increase greatly. The octopus monster leader said hurriedly. The heavenly filth origin pearl he mentioned was actually the heavenly filth Dao fruit. Ling Zhao had to admit that he was a little tempted. Although he had 16 Dao fruits in his body, it was far from enough. He had very strict requirements for Dao fruits. Only perfect Dao fruits would be refined by him. As for the Dao fruits condensed by ordinary imperial lords, due to insufficient accumulation and foundation, the Dao fruits condensed by them were not perfect or even incomplete. His main purpose in entering the Eternal Emperor's Road was to collect all kinds of Dao fruits and assimilate them into his body. The heavenly filth Dao fruit in the octopus queen's body was indeed a very good choice. Master, this guy has bad intentions. He's definitely trying to send you to your death. The evil spirit's voice sounded in Ling Zhao's mind. How could I not know? However, what he said about the octopus queen giving birth to a child should be true. Let's go take a look and act according to the situation. Let's see if we can kill the octopus queen. Ling Zhao sneered in his heart. He naturally understood what the octopus monster leader was thinking. He was trying to lure Ling Zhao to the octopus clan, and then borrow the octopus queen's power to kill him. Unfortunately, he had the wrong idea. Very good. What's your name? From today onwards, you'll be my guide. Bring me to the octopus clan. If I can obtain the heavenly filth origin pearl, I'll definitely reward you. Ling Zhao's gaze fell on the octopus monster leader as he smiled faintly. My lord, my name is Zhang Yan. I'll definitely do my best for you until the day I die. The octopus monster leader pretended to be happy and quickly knelt on one knee to show his loyalty. Zhang Yan? Bring me to the octopus clan. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a strange smile as he said indifferently. Yes. Under Zhang Yan's lead, Ling Zhao walked toward the Eternal Emperor's Road. Chapter 31-27. This was a vast starry sky ancient road, surrounded by huge stars. Although most of them were dead stars, there were all kinds of strange life forms, as well as some heaven and earth treasures that had long been lost in the god world. However, when these life forms sensed Zhang Yun and Ling Zhao's aura, they were very frightened and ran away. An emperor was considered a powerhouse on the Eternal Emperor Road. Although there were many emperors among the life forms on the Eternal Emperor Road, they were still in the minority. The chaotic fog rose, and the surrounding scenery looked very strange. It was colorful and dreamy. The Eternal Emperor Road was different from the God world, the demon world, the immortal world, and any other world. It felt like an illusory world. Soon, Zhang Yun brought Ling Zhao back to the octopus tribe. This is the octopus tribe. Ling Xiao looked at the scene in front of him and couldn't help but gasp. In the chaotic void ahead, there was a huge octopus beast floating. It looked like 1,000,000 feet tall, like a floating immemorial divine mountain. The octopus beast was pitch black, but its eyes were like blood moons, half open and half closed. The tentacles on its body were like huge black pythons wriggling slowly. However, the energy fluctuations emitted by the giant octopus beast made Ling Xiao extremely shocked. The million-zhang-tall octopus was surrounded by a huge transparent barrier. Inside the transparent barrier, there was mist and immortal light. There were huge buildings and people flying here and there. That's right. This is the octopus tribe. That octopus beast is Her Majesty the Octopus Queen. The huge barrier around it is formed by her power, and it is also the ancestral land of the octopus tribe. Zhang Yun nodded and said, I see. Ling Xiao nodded, and there was a bright light in his eyes. Anyone who saw this scene would be incomparably shocked. The huge octopus beast had formed the octopus tribe. No wonder Zhang Yun said that all the octopus tribe members were the octopus queen's children. My lord, this is my plan. We will wait here for a while. Today, Her Majesty the Queen will give birth to a child. Later, you will pretend to be my captive, and I will bring you to see Her Majesty. After Her Majesty gives birth to a child, she will become extremely weak and will need to eat, so she will not be too wary of you. Her Achilles heel is her eyes. As long as you can blind her eyes, you can kill her. Zhang Yun said respectfully. Since you've already planned it, I'll listen to you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said noncommittally, Thank you for your trust, sir. This subordinate will not let you down. Zhang Yun quickly expressed his loyalty. While they were talking, a strange change occurred in the distance. Rumble. The octopus behemoth shook slightly, causing the surrounding void to rumble. Its body emitted dazzling 9-colored divine light, making the octopus behemoth look extremely holy in an instant. The black light on her body faded away, and she was enveloped in 9-colored divine light, nurturing an incomparably majestic aura of life. Sir, let's go quickly. Her Majesty is about to give birth to a child. Zhang Yun's eyes flashed as he hurriedly said, All right. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Together with Zhang Yun, he walked towards the octopus behemoth. Black ropes appeared on his arms and bound his hands. As if because the octopus behemoth was about to give birth to a child, Ling Xiao could feel that the power of the huge boundary around the octopus behemoth had weakened. Zhang Yun led him and passed through the boundary easily. Ling Xiao saw many octopus monsters within the boundary bowing to the octopus behemoth with fanatical worship in their eyes. Greetings, General Zhang Yun. General Zhang Yun seems to have gained a lot today. You actually caught such a handsome young man. Her Majesty will definitely reward you generously. Where are your subordinates? Why did you come back alone? Along the way, they met many octopus warriors. They smiled and greeted Zhang Yun, and Zhang Yun responded with a smile. However, Zhang Yun was very obedient from the beginning to the end, and did not make any strange movements. She led Ling Xiao all the way to the octopus behemoth. Rumble. The octopus behemoth spewed out a dazzling 9-colored divine glow. Endless life essence erupted and formed a cloud of life around it. Finally, it gathered to form a lake of life. At this moment, the octopus behemoth's aura was released to the extreme. The majestic life aura erupted like a blooming flower. Crack. The octopus beast's body cracked open, and a dozen or so giant eggs rolled out from within. Each of the giant eggs was hundreds of feet in size, and had strange dark golden patterns on them. They contained a majestic aura of life. These were the octopus eggs that the octopus behemoth had given birth to. In the future, the octopus eggs would definitely give birth to powerful octopus tribesmen. Boom. After giving birth to a dozen huge eggs, the octopus behemoth's aura began to weaken at a speed visible to the naked eye. Ling Xiao could feel that the octopus behemoth was emitting a very tired fluctuation, as if its vitality had been greatly damaged. At this moment, the octopus warriors guarding at the side pulled out a dozen figures with powerful auras. They were all in the immortal emperor realm. However, those people were all shackled by the black chains. Each of them looked dispirited, and their eyes were filled with shock and anger. Among them, Ling Xiao also saw 3 figures emitting immortal light. They were from the celestial tribe. Ling Xiao understood in his heart that they were probably the 3 people that Zhang Yin had mentioned, the 3 people who had been captured earlier. My children, offer your sacrifices. An old and hoarse voice sounded. It sounded like the voice of an old woman, and it gave people goosebumps. This is the Octopus Queen? Ling Xiao cursed in his heart. She was clearly a rotten old woman. The octopus behemoth's blood moon-like eyes swept across the crowd. After seeing the dozen people, it revealed a trace of satisfaction. Finally, its eyes landed on Ling Xiao, and it could not help but light up. It could feel that Ling Xiao's vitality was majestic. His life aura was extremely powerful, far surpassing that of the dozen figures. Zhang Yin, my child, you actually prepared such a perfect sacrifice for me? Very good. I will definitely reward you handsomely. The octopus behemoth's voice boomed like thunder. Then, the black tentacles around its body wrapped around Ling Xiao, and the dozen figures like pythons. Zhang Yin retreated without showing any emotion. He did not make a fuss, nor did he say anything. He thought that Ling Xiao would definitely die. After all, Her Majesty's invincibility and power had long been deeply rooted in everyone's hearts. However, he still did not dare to tell the truth. If the fact that he had betrayed the Octopus Queen and brought the enemy back to the Octopus tribe was exposed, it would be difficult for him to die even if he wanted to. Therefore, the best solution was for Ling Xiao to die. Zhang Yun's eyes revealed a trace of ferocity. He could even see Ling Xiao dying in the Octopus Queen's mouth. Chapter 31-28. Rumble. The Octopus Queen's tentacles were as thick as towering ancient trees. They shone with a metallic luster, and were filled with black light. They were as fast as lightning as they swept towards Ling Xiao and the others. The only difference was that Ling Xiao wasn't actually imprisoned. On the other hand, the dozen or so people were all imprisoned. At this moment, all of their eyes were filled with incomparable despair. Boom. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. An extremely terrifying aura fluctuation erupted from his body. Chaotic light gushed out, and an endless amount of mighty power erupted. Clang! The sky-devouring sword was unsheathed. It was like a divine rainbow that bloomed with a vast and dazzling light. Ling Xiao soared into the sky and slashed down with his sword. Everyone's vision turned white. It was like a snow-white waterfall. It was dazzling and extremely bright. Poof! Black liquid splattered in all directions. The black tentacles that were sweeping towards Ling Xiao and the others were cut off by Ling Xiao's sword. Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. He used the great teleportation technique and appeared in front of the Octopus Queen's eyes in an instant. He held his sword and stabbed horizontally, wanting to blind the Octopus Queen's eyes. The Octopus Queen was a genuine peerless emperor. However, after giving birth, her cultivation had been greatly damaged. In Ling Xiao's opinion, she was barely at the level of a high-level emperor. The Octopus Queen's black tentacles were extremely sturdy and contained the mighty power of the Great Path. If her cultivation had not been greatly damaged, Ling Xiao would not have been able to cut it off so easily. Zhang Yun did not lie to him. The Octopus Queen's Achilles heel was her eyes. Ling Xiao could feel that behind those blood moon-like eyes was the Octopus Queen's vast life source, and the indestructible primordial spirit. Therefore, Ling Xiao did not hesitate to attack. After the sky-devouring sword had merged with the 4 heavenly immortal swords, it was not an Extreme Path Emperor weapon. However, it was even more powerful than an Extreme Path Emperor weapon. Not only was it extremely sharp, but it was also extremely fast. All of this happened in an instant. In fact, the people from the Octopus clan did not even have time to react before they saw the Octopus Queen's tentacles being cut off. The dozens of supreme cultivators were originally in despair. They thought that they would be buried in the Octopus Queen's stomach. However, they did not expect to be instantly enveloped by a huge surprise. Someone had broken free from the bindings and attacked the Octopus Queen. Who is he? More than a dozen trial takers stared at Ling Xiao's figure, their hearts filled with doubt. Roar. The Octopus Queen was furious. It let out a roar that sounded like a tsunami. In an instant, it caused the surrounding space to tremble. The terrifying sound waves swept out in all directions. It had never thought that the ant that it regarded as food in its stomach would actually bite back. At the same time, it also felt the fatal threat of the sky-devouring sword. Whoosh! Whoosh! Bloody light shot out from its eyes and intertwined with each other, forming a huge blood screen in front of Ling Xiao. Moreover, the blood screen was wriggling like a living creature, trying to suck Ling Xiao into it. Break! Ling Xiao's eyes glowed with a blazing light as he roared. The heaven-devouring sword shone brightly in an instant as an unparalleled sword chi swept out in all directions. The blood veil was instantly torn apart by the sword chi. The sky-devouring sword did not slow down. In the blink of an eye, it pierced the octopus queen's eyes. Clang! At this critical moment, the octopus queen closed her eyes. Her huge eyelids were as sturdy as a stone door. There were even black scales on them. Although the heaven-devouring sword had pierced a few scales and left sparks, the octopus queen's eyelids were unexpectedly sturdy and blocked the attack of the heaven-devouring sword. After all, the octopus queen knew that her eyes were her lifeline. Therefore, her eyelids were like defensive treasures that could withstand all attacks. Die, die, die. Ant, you have completely angered me. A thunderous roar erupted from the octopus queen's mouth. Whoosh! 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 Tens of thousands of black tentacles swept across the sky at an extremely fast speed. They intertwined around Ling Xiao and covered the sky like an inescapable net. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel the powerful force attached to the black tentacles. If he was really trapped by the black tentacles, it would be difficult for him to break free in a short time. Boom! Ling Xiao threw out a punch. The chaotic fist print was unparalleled. It collided with a huge tentacle and caused the surrounding void to tremble violently. Ling Xiao felt an incomparably strong recoil, and his entire body was involuntarily sent flying. Behind him, the tentacles intertwined with each other. The heaven-devouring sword in Ling Xiao's hand emitted a dazzling light. It slashed through the air and was invincible. Every ray of sword chi seemed to be able to tear everything apart. Even though the octopus queen's tentacles covered the sky, they were unable to trap Ling Xiao for a while. This giant octopus queen has such a terrifying physical strength. Is this the power of an ancient beast? Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. He collided with the black tentacle. Although it could be said that they were evenly matched, Ling Xiao could still feel the incomparably terrifying power within the giant octopus's body. It was like a volcano, and it made him extremely fearful. He can actually fight Her Majesty to such an extent? Could it be that he really has a chance of killing Her Majesty? Among the octopus clan in the distance, Zhang Yun's eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao's strength was beyond his imagination. Although he did not know who would win between Ling Xiao and the octopus queen, Zhang Yun knew that he would not have a good ending. While the octopus clan members were shocked and angry, and they were in chaos, he turned his eyes and quietly rushed out of the octopus clan. It was too terrifying. It was too dangerous. He had to leave this place. It would be best if he never saw Ling Xiao again. No one noticed Zhang Yun's departure. Many octopus clan members were shocked and furious. They were extremely anxious, but they could not do anything at this moment. The battle between Ling Xiao and the octopus queen was too intense. Ordinary octopus clan members could not interfere at all. Woo! Some octopus clan members took out strange treasures and let out strange whimpers. The whimpers spread to the surrounding chaotic void. Whoosh! 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 As though they were summoned by the strange sound wave, numerous figures with powerful auras flew over from afar. They were all imperial emperors of the octopus clan. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. There were many imperial emperors in the octopus clan. If they all rushed back, it would be extremely troublesome when the octopus queen joined in. Therefore, it was best to kill the octopus queen before they rushed back. Chapter 31-29. Clang. The sky-devouring sword in Ling Xiao's hand glowed even brighter. He activated the devouring fruit of Tao, and his body exuded a boundless devouring power. The sky-devouring sword struck through the air at an extremely fast speed. The tentacles were cut off one by one. Instead of retreating, Ling Xiao charged towards the octopus queen's eyes. Although the octopus queen's eyelids were extremely sturdy and could withstand the power of the sky-devouring sword, Ling Xiao believed that if he attacked with all his might, he would definitely be able to break through that powerful defense. As long as he could pierce the octopus queen's vital point, the octopus queen's cultivation level would be greatly reduced. Then he would be able to kill the octopus queen easily. Although the octopus queen's cultivation level had been greatly reduced due to the birth of her son, her body was too huge. The octopus queen was like an ancient sacred mountain that was filled with boundless power. Rumble. The octopus queen was completely enraged by Ling Xiao. Black light gushed out from her body and shrouded Ling Xiao in an instant. The black light was extremely viscous, like a black sea. However, Ling Xiao could feel a strong filthy power from the black light. It contained the power of the Great Path origin, and seemed to be able to pollute everything. Is this the octopus queen's heavenly filthy origin? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the octopus queen had been forced by Ling Xiao to unleash her full power. Even the heavenly filthy origin had erupted. After all, Ling Xiao was extremely fast, and the sky-devouring sword could destroy everything. The octopus queen's tentacles were useless against Ling Xiao. Those black tentacles were only able to slow Ling Xiao down slightly after being cut off by the sky-devouring sword. Moreover, because of the octopus queen's boundless life origin, those black tentacles could quickly regenerate even if they were cut off. Ling Xiao felt that the void around him had become stagnant, causing his speed to slow down. The surging black light was formless and formless. It surged into Ling Xiao's body, wanting to corrode his vitality and pollute his origin, completely assimilating him. Rumble. Ling Xiao felt the power of the heavenly filth origin, and didn't dare to be careless. Instantly, unparalleled chaotic light gushed out from his body, blocking the invasion of the heavenly filth origin. At the same time he attacked through the air. Sword chi swept through the surroundings with unparalleled sharpness, constantly cutting off the tentacles in front of him. Once again, he stood in front of the octopus queen's eyes. Boom. The light of the sky-devouring sword blazed like a flame. The sharp sword chi swept across the void, and turned into an incomparably huge sword aura in an instant. The sword energy was extremely sharp, and contained a sharpness that could pierce through everything. It pierced toward the octopus queen's eyes. Clang. The octopus queen closed her eyes again. The huge double eyelids fell like a dragon-breaking rock, blocking the heaven-devouring sword. Blazing sparks flew in all directions, and the octopus queen's eyelids trembled violently. The scales on her eyelids were pierced by the sky-devouring sword, and spiderweb-like cracks started to appear on them. It looked as if they would shatter at any moment. However, at this moment, an overwhelming black light screen swept across the sky towards Ling Xiao. There were black barbs on the black light screen. They flickered with a sharp and cold radiance that could pierce through everything. That was the octopus queen's tongue. Rumble. At this moment, all the black tentacles shrunk by tens of thousands of times in an instant. Like a black waterfall, they crisscrossed and formed a huge net that enveloped Ling Xiao. At the same time, the heavenly filth origin swept over from below, wanting to pollute all life. A cold radiance flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He did not expect the octopus queen to be so intelligent. She even took the initiative to set up a trap. This was clearly a trap that the octopus queen had deliberately set up for Ling Xiao. She wanted to capture and kill Ling Xiao in one fell swoop. The spiderweb-like cracks on the octopus queen's eyelids, which were about to shatter, instantly disappeared and became extremely sturdy again. Ling Xiao did not continue to aim at the octopus queen's eyes. The sky-devouring sword in his hand soared into the sky. The sword chi was extremely sharp, and it wanted to tear the huge black net apart. Clang, clang, clang. Although the huge black net was trembling, it managed to block the sharp radiance of the sky-devouring sword. However, the radiance dimmed a little, and it continued to envelop Ling Xiao. The octopus queen's huge tongue and the black sea formed by the heavenly filth origin drowned Ling Xiao in an instant. The octopus queen opened her eyes again, and there was a hint of mockery in her eyes. Do you really think that I don't know that this is a trap that you set up? Suddenly, an extremely abrupt voice was heard. The octopus queen's body trembled, and there was a look of uncertainty in her eyes as she looked around. Swoosh. At this moment, Ling Xiao's figure suddenly appeared in front of the Octopus Queen, and he punched out. Crack. Chaotic light bloomed, and the unparalleled fist print contained the power to split the heavens and earth. It was as though it was going to restart the era and recreate chaos. Epic fist. The speed of this punch was extremely fast, and Ling Xiao and the Octopus Queen's eyes were too close. The Octopus Queen did not even have time to close her eyes before Ling Xiao's punch landed on her eyes. Poof. Blood spurted out, and the Octopus Queen's eyes suddenly exploded. Ling Xiao moved forward at an extremely fast speed. Without any hesitation, he charged into the Octopus Queen's body through the eye that had been blasted open. Clang! The sky-devouring sword made a clanging sound and instantly pierced through the Octopus Queen's tongue. It flew across the sky and landed in Ling Xiao's hands. With the sky-devouring sword in hand, Ling Xiao was unstoppable. He wantonly destroyed everything around him as he charged towards the core of the Octopus Queen's body. Roar! The Octopus Queen let out an earth-shattering roar. At the same time, it was mixed with intense pain and fear. Her other undamaged eye was filled with confusion. She did not understand how Ling Xiao could appear out of thin air when he was already imprisoned by her tongue. However, she did not know that Ling Xiao's teleportation secret skill, after fusing with the power of time and space, was almost like an avatar. It formed an illusory Ling Xiao and deceived the Octopus Queen's eyes. While she was scheming against Ling Xiao was also scheming against her. Rumble! The Octopus Queen's gigantic body began to writhe wildly due to the intense pain. In an instant, countless buildings were destroyed and many powerful octopus warriors were crushed to death. The Octopus Queen's body did not have any flaws. It was extremely sturdy. Even Ling Xiao's sky-devouring sword could not cause any substantial damage to it. However, its eyes were its only weak point. Ling Xiao smashed one of its eyes and charged into its body. His wanton destruction caused the Octopus Queen's cultivation, which had already been greatly damaged, to dissipate even faster. Moreover, the intense pain was unbearable. It roared furiously, and at the same time, its gigantic body twisted and destroyed everything in the Octopus clan. Chapter 3130. Is he really able to kill the Octopus Queen? The trial takers hid at the side and looked at the Octopus Queen, who was twisting violently in front of them. The members of the Octopus clan were fleeing in all directions. At this moment, no one cared about them. Although some of the emperors of the Octopus clan had rushed back, Ling Xiao had already entered the Octopus Queen's body. The emperors of the Octopus clan could only be anxious. The Octopus Queen is an ancient beast. The bloodline in her body is a good treasure that can allow us to be reborn. Especially the heavenly taint origin pearl. That is a complete origin pearl. If it is integrated into one's body, one's cultivation will skyrocket. Someone said enviously. So what? If the Octopus Queen dies, we won't get the bloodline or the heavenly taint origin pearl. Someone sneered. If only the young master was here. With the young master, he would definitely be able to kill the Octopus Queen. Even if we can't get the heavenly taint origin pearl, it would be good to get the Octopus Queen's bloodline. Someone said regretfully. That's right. That brat is just lucky. Also, the sword in his hand should be an extreme emperor weapon. It could even cut off the Octopus Queen's tentacles. What a good treasure. The young master would definitely like it. Unfortunately, the young master isn't here. If only the young master could find us. The group of people gathered together and discussed softly. As for the three immortals, they looked at each other with pity in their eyes. Without leaving a trace, they distanced themselves from the dozen or so immortals. They really don't know what's good for them. That fiend saved you. It's fine if you don't thank him, but you want to take advantage of him? At first, they did not recognize Ling Xiao's identity. However, when Ling Xiao took out the sky-devouring sword and released the aura of the God clan, they instantly recognized him. The son of God from the God clan, the divine master. This was a ruthless person who dared to reject the ninth prince. He was the person who killed the Taiyuan saint and the sword heart saint. The three of them were independent cultivators. Although they did not enter the immortal demon cave, they were outside and witnessed the battle with their own eyes. These dozen or so reckless fellows are dead for sure. The three of them could only hope that Ling Xiao would not kill them because of their status as immortals. Within the Octopus Queen's body, Ling Xiao wielded the sky-devouring sword and destroyed everything around him. He entered the Octopus Queen's head through her eyes. Her heavenly filth origin bead emitted a mysterious light that surged toward Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's primordial immortal body was perfect and impenetrable. The primordial immortal body was able to resist all attacks from the origin of heavenly filth. After devouring the Tao fruit, he could even refine the origin of heavenly filth. Furthermore, the light emitted by the heavenly filth origin pearl had also pointed the way for Ling Xiao. Crack! The sky-devouring sword in Ling Xiao's hand cut through everything. Finally, he saw the sky taint origin pearl and the Octopus Queen's indestructible primordial spirit. Is this the heavenly filth origin pearl? Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. The heavenly filth origin pearl in front of him looked like a dazzling sun. It flowed with colorful light, but it was black and contained an extremely evil energy fluctuation. On the other hand, the indestructible primordial spirit of the Octopus Queen looked like a small octopus. Its entire body was as black as ink, and it contained extremely powerful mental strength. At this moment, it was looking at Ling Xiao with eyes full of resentment. "Aunt, you've angered me," the Octopus Queen's indestructible primordial spirit said coldly. "Angered you? What can you do about it?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said with interest, "As punishment, I'll let you taste the most painful death in this world. The last thing you should have done was to barge into this place." The Octopus Queen's indestructible primordial spirit said coldly, as if she was looking at a dead person. Boom! As soon as she finished speaking, an extremely powerful sound wave burst out from her mouth. It was as if it had materialized and shrouded Ling Xiao. Crack! The void trembled and the surrounding heavens and earth rumbled. The Octopus Queen's indestructible primordial spirit was like a black ray of light. It was extremely fast and shrouded Ling Xiao in an instant. The heavenly filth origin pearl came across the sky and emitted the purest polluting power. It surged wildly into Ling Xiao's body. After all, the Octopus Queen had the cultivation of an unparalleled emperor. Even though her cultivation had been greatly damaged because she had given birth to a child, which gave Ling Xiao an opportunity to take advantage of her, her primordial spirit did not suffer much damage. With the soul core of a peerless imperial monarch, annihilating a third-level imperial monarch was simply an extremely easy task. Rumble! Ling Xiao's entire body was enveloped by a dense black light. The Octopus Queen's indestructible primordial spirit was like an awl. It was extremely sharp and wanted to penetrate Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows and enter it to pollute his primordial spirit. In the Octopus Queen's opinion, Ling Xiao was definitely going to die. Ling Xiao's expression was extremely calm, and the corners of his mouth curled into a faint mocking smile. Chaotic light filled his body and purple gas rose. The Hongmeng indestructible origin body gave him the ability to be invulnerable. The power of the heavenly filth origin pearl could not penetrate his body at all. Moreover, Ling Xiao wasn't an ordinary third-level imperial monarch. Rumble! Instantly, a terrifying devouring power erupted from his body. The devouring heaven's sacred domain appeared, and shrouded the entire area majestically. This was the Octopus Queen's Sea of Consciousness. It was the place where her primordial spirit and the heavenly filth origin pearl resided. It was also the place where the life origin gathered. As Ling Xiao urged the fruit of devouring, a terrifying devouring domain instantly formed around him. The vast life origin and the power of the heavenly filth origin pearl were devoured by the devouring Tao fruit, and surged into Ling Xiao's body continuously. You actually cultivated the devouring Tao fruit. So what if you devour the Tao fruit? Do you really think that the devouring Tao fruit can devour my heavenly filth origin pearl? The Octopus Queen was shocked and furious. Her expression became extremely ugly. The devouring Tao fruit was one of the top 20 Tao fruits in the universe. It was extremely powerful and much more powerful than the heavenly filth origin pearl. If Ling Xiao's cultivation was not much weaker than hers, the devouring Tao fruit could refine the heavenly filth origin pearl in one fell swoop. Even so, the octopus queen still felt that something was amiss. If the devouring Tao fruit doesn't work, what if I add other things? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. His eyes instantly shone with an incomparably bright light. Rumble. Chaotic light rose around him. The power of destiny was ethereal, and the aura of reincarnation surged. The light of karma intertwined, and the power of time and space began to distort. 12 Tao fruits appeared and displayed a destructive aura fluctuation. Chapter 31-31. These were the Tao fruits of the 12 ultimate great paths. When Ling Xiao activated them at the same time, the heavenly filth origin bead was completely suppressed. Moreover, with the support of the 12 Tao fruits, the devouring Tao fruit shone brightly, as if it was going to devour the heavenly filth origin bead. The octopus queen was scared out of her wits. You're a robber? The octopus queen screamed in shock. Her eyes were filled with fear. Swoosh. She gave up the idea of killing Ling Xiao instantly. Her indestructible primordial spirit quickly moved away, and chose to escape. Robber? What's a robber? Ling Xiao was confused. The words robber seemed to have a special meaning. However, Ling Xiao did not understand why the octopus queen would think that he was a robber. Are you still pretending? Who else can refine so many ultimate Tao fruits other than a robber? Let me go and I promise I won't be your enemy. The octopus queen screamed. Her eyes were filled with fear and even a hint of pleading. She realized that her indestructible primordial spirit could not escape the seal of the 12 Tao fruits. The threat of death loomed over her heart. Let you go? Leave the heavenly filth origin bead, and I can spare your life. How about that? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He had spent so much effort to kill the octopus queen because of the heavenly filth origin bead. This was a perfect origin bead. If he could refine it, it would definitely allow his strength to increase greatly. His cultivation would also increase by quite a bit. Leave the heavenly filth origin bead? Don't even think about it. Ant, do you really think I'm afraid of you? At most, we'll perish together. The octopus queen screamed fiercely. The heavenly filth origin bead was her foundation, and the source of her cultivation and power. If she left it to Ling Xiao, not only would her cultivation be greatly damaged, but she would also be killed if her powerful enemies found out about it. Therefore, she was unwilling to give up the heavenly filth origin bead even if she died. If you're unwilling, you can go to hell. Ling Xiao sneered. Boom. He activated the 12 ultimate Tao fruits without hesitation. The terrifying power of the devouring Tao fruit shrouded the octopus queen's primordial spirit and the heavenly filth origin bead. At the same time, the sky-devouring sword in Ling and Ling Zhao's primordial spirit gave out a blazing light. It was extremely sharp. The sky-devouring sword, sky-devouring heavenly emperor weapon. Eternal Emperor's weapon was Emperor's weapon. It was sky-devouring heaven emperor. Devouring sword emperor sword sword had sword 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 heaven sword sword sword. Sword 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 heaven sword sword was sword 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 sword. Even the octopus queen's indestructible primordial spirit did not dare to face the sky-devouring sword, let alone her physical body. To be. Xiao to be, to be sword. To be. Sword. To be. To s to her with she of hers her was. The 12 Tao fruits continued to compress the space. The devouring Tao fruit unleashed a terrifying devouring power that suppressed the octopus queen's indestructible primordial spirit and the heavenly filth origin bead. Soon Queen Octopus was in a desperate situation. You forced me to do this. If you want my heavenly filth origin bead, then die together with me. Queen Octopus's eyes were filled with despair as she roared. Rumble. Her indestructible primordial spirit gave off a dazzling light. An extremely terrifying aura filled the air. It was furious and crazy. The heavenly filth origin bead was also spewing out heavenly filth origin energy. It was like a black sea that was surging wildly. It contained an extremely crazy power. Queen Octopus was going to self-detonate. Suppress. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows and yelled out loudly. Dazzling light bloomed between his eyebrows. The 9-colored divine glow rose, and the wordless heavenly book flew across the sky. It floated above Queen Octopus's indestructible primordial spirit, and the heavenly filth origin bead. It gave off an ancient and desolate aura. Queen Octopus, who was about to self-detonate, was shocked. This is. There was a look of horror and disbelief in its eyes. Swoosh. But before she could finish her sentence, the sky-devouring sword flew across the sky like a divine rainbow. It was dazzling white and extremely sharp. It cut her in half. The devouring Dao fruit exploded with a terrifying devouring power. It instantly enveloped Queen Octopus's primordial spirit and began to devour and refine it. The heavenly filth origin bead was suppressed by the wordless heavenly book, and then slowly absorbed into Ling Xiao's consciousness between his eyebrows. The 17th origin Dao fruit. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in Queen Octopus's head. He was refining Queen Octopus's primordial spirit and devouring her majestic life origin at the same time. His aura began to strengthen rapidly. Queen Octopus's million-foot body had lived for countless years in Eternal Emperor's Road. It contained an extremely terrifying amount of vitality. The pure life origin contained a vast amount of immortal matter. Although it couldn't raise Ling Xiao's cultivation base by much, it could strengthen his foundation. After Queen Octopus's indestructible primordial spirit was erased, it turned into the purest form of primordial spirit energy and merged with Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Even though Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was powerful now, the indestructible primordial spirit of a peerless emperor could still raise his indestructible primordial spirit significantly. Queen Octopus is indeed powerful. If it wasn't for the fact that she gave birth to a child, her cultivation would have been reduced to the 6th or 7th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm at most. I probably wouldn't have been able to kill her, or even break her defense. Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. He was really lucky this time. However, he had also gained a lot. Queen Octopus's life origin, indestructible primordial spirit, and heavenly filth origin bead were all treasures that could only be found by chance. It's a pity that I still had to use the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. Ever since the evil spirit had told him about the origin of the wordless heavenly book, he had been very cautious and unwilling to use it too much. When Queen Octopus's indestructible primordial spirit self-destructed, only the wordless heavenly book could suppress it. Ling Xiao had no choice but to use the wordless heavenly book. However, Ling Xiao felt that it was better to use the chaotic treasure as little as possible in Eternal Emperor's Road, as he might trigger some unknown existence. Master, it's useless to think so much. Anyway, you've already been targeted by the weapon spirit of the wordless heavenly book. The only thing you can do now is to raise your cultivation as quickly as possible, so that you can protect yourself. The evil spirit seemed to know what Ling Xiao was thinking and said aloud. I understand. However, I still hope to keep a low profile as much as possible. Before I have absolute strength, I don't want to attract too much attention. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Chapter 31-32. Master, do you think you can keep a low profile? You're the chosen one, and you possess the heavenly Tao's providence of this epoch. I'm afraid not only the geniuses of the universe, but also the monstrous geniuses of the past. They won't let you off so easily. This is an era of great competition. Stepping onto the Eternal Emperor Road means that you must fight for everything. If you don't fight for it, others will. So it's better to fight. Kill everyone who stands in your way and ascend to the peak of the Eternal Emperor Road. The evil spirit said eagerly. There was a strong bewitching power in its voice. I understand what you're saying. Let's not talk about this for now. Tell me, what's a robber? Why did the octopus queen call me a robber when she saw me reveal so many Dao fruits? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Robber? That name sounds familiar. I need to think about it. The evil spirit said with some confusion. You don't know either? Ling Xiao was a little surprised. I really haven't remembered, but a robber should be someone like Master who has many Dao fruits. Anyway, robbers are very dangerous. Master must be careful of them. The evil spirit said vaguely. Many Dao fruits? Is that a robber? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a bright light. When an imperial emperor realm expert condensed an origin Dao fruit, it represented the origin Dao that the imperial emperor was walking. If one reached the peak of an origin Dao and eventually mastered a great Dao, it was also called Dao affirmation. The Dao affirmation was an emperor. Therefore, many imperial lords would only condense a single Dao fruit. Even if they obtained another's Dao fruit, as long as their quintessence was similar, they could absorb the Dao fruit and allow their quintessence Dao fruit to evolve, allowing them to walk further on the quintessence Dao. Very few people would condense more than one Dao fruit at the same time. Of course, some people who knew that they had no hope of Dao affirmation would condense more Dao fruits to improve their strength. There were also some amazing geniuses who thought that they could control more origin Daos, so they would condense more Dao fruits. But those were the minority. Only Ling Xiao would be able to condense multiple origin Dao fruits without the slightest scruple, because the path he walked was different from others. He wanted to gather 3,000 great Daos and walk the path of 10,000 Daos as one. In the end, he had to break through 10,000 Daos and return them to one, then use strength to affirm his Dao. This was destined to be a path that no one had ever taken before, and no one in the future. However, the words robber that the octopus queen had mentioned made Ling Xiao instinctively feel that something was amiss. It seemed to have a special meaning that did not belong to the above categories. Perhaps, when I meet a real robber, I will understand, Ling Xiao thought to himself. The octopus queen had been killed by him, and her most precious life origin, indestructible primordial spirit, and heavenly taint origin pearl had all become his. Ling Xiao didn't leave either. He sat cross-legged in the octopus queen's head to refine the life origin and the indestructible primordial spirit. Outside, everyone saw that the octopus queen's huge body, which was still twisting violently, had stiffened and lost all signs of life. The octopus queen really died in the hands of that brat. The dozen or so surviving trial takers and prodigies all had incredulous looks in their eyes. In that case, the heavenly filth origin pearl has also fallen into his hands. There's also the life origin of the octopus queen. Such a huge body, I wonder how much life origin it contains. Perhaps it can help our cultivation to improve further. That brat still hasn't come out. Could it be that he wants to take the octopus queen's treasures for himself? Damn it, how dare he look down on us. When the young master arrives, we must teach him a lesson. The dozen or so trial takers and prodigies all had indignant looks on their faces. It was as if they had forgotten who had saved them from the octopus queen's mouth. After the octopus queen was killed, the imperial emperors of the octopus clan all suffered a huge backlash. Their life origin was damaged after their mother's body was killed, and their strength was rapidly draining away. All of them were extremely terrified. They were afraid that Ling Xiao would rush out to deal with them, so all of them fled in all directions. Soon the ancestral land of the octopus clan was empty. Crack. At that moment, a blazing thunderbolt exploded in the void. The sky was filled with thunderbolts, surging like an ocean, flashing with a dazzling light. A young man with purple hair walked out from the thunderbolt, holding a purple gold war spear. He was clad in armor and had a head of fluttering purple hair. His face looked as if it had been carved by a knife and axe. It was very three-dimensional, and his purple eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. His gaze was cold and domineering, and it was so sharp that no one dared to look directly at him. His aura was extremely violent, as if the god of thunder had descended upon the world, exuding a vast heavenly might. It's the young master. The dozen or so trial takers and prodigies all trembled, and their eyes revealed a trace of incomparable surprise. The purple-haired man walked out from the thunderbolt and appeared in front of the octopus queen's corpse in an instant. Whoosh! He pointed at the void, and the light from his finger was extremely sharp. In an instant, the shackles on the dozen or so trial takers and prodigies were lifted. What's going on? An indifferent voice sounded. Young master, after we entered the Eternal Emperor Road, we were ambushed by the octopus monster and captured here. We were to be offered to the octopus queen as food. A trial taker with fair skin, brown hair, and a tall figure did not dare to be negligent. He hurriedly knelt on one knee and reported respectfully. "You're saying that the third heaven Imperial Lord young man killed the octopus queen and is now in her body?" The purple-haired young man's eyes were like lightning as he asked indifferently. "That's right. However, young master, that young man's strength is not too strong. The octopus queen's strength was greatly reduced after she laid her eggs. That gave him an opportunity to take advantage of her. There is a perfected heavenly filth origin pearl in the octopus queen's body." A trial taker and prodigy reported. "A perfected heavenly filth origin pearl? That's a treasure. If I bring it to the imperial city, I can exchange it for many treasures. These octopus eggs are also good treasures." The purple-haired young man nodded in satisfaction. He did not stand on ceremony. With a wave of his sleeve, he immediately kept all the octopus eggs. His gaze landed on the giant octopus beast's body, and a hint of passion flashed across his eyes. The body of a peerless emperor realm ancient beast was full of treasures. In particular, the indestructible primordial spirit, origin pearl, and life origin were all supreme treasures. "Young master, only you are qualified to enjoy the treasures in the octopus queen's body. That young man is ignorant. I'm afraid he's refining the heavenly filth origin pearl now." A trial taker said flatteringly. "Refining the heavenly filth origin pearl? You're courting death." The purple-haired young man's eyes flashed coldly. Rumble. However, at that moment, before he could do anything, the giant octopus beast suddenly began to tremble violently. Its head even emitted a dazzling light. A young man in a snow-white robe, shrouded in chaotic light, stepped out of the giant octopus beast's head. The two people's gazes collided in the void, instantly igniting a blazing and dazzling light. Chapter 31-33. The heavenly filth origin bead is in your hands? Hand it over. The purple-haired young man looked down at Ling Xiao coldly and spoke in a commanding tone. "Who are you?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with light. The purple-haired young man in front of him was enveloped in lightning and exuded a vast heavenly might. His aura was domineering and sharp. It seemed like he cultivated an origin source related to the Tao of lightning. The purple-haired young man was handsome but different from a human. He had a hooked nose and deep-set eyes. He might be a prodigy of a foreign race. His cultivation was extraordinary as he had reached the fifth heaven of the Imperial Lord realm. However, that commanding tone of his made Ling Xiao feel a little displeased. "Lad, this is our young master of the Thunder God, Anux. If you know what's good for you, hand over the heavenly filth origin bead quickly. Otherwise, you'll have to suffer the wrath of the Thunder God." One of the trial challengers sneered. "That's right. Lad, on account of your extraordinary cultivation, hand over the heavenly filth origin bead, and kneel down to surrender. Our young master of the Thunder God doesn't mind taking you in as a follower." Another trial challenger sneered. The eyes of the dozen or so trial takers were full of pride, as if they had completely forgotten who had saved them from the octopus queen. "Anux? I've never heard of him. Have you forgotten that if I hadn't killed the octopus queen, you would have become its food? How dare you make a fuss in front of me?" Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed and spoke indifferently. He didn't mean to save those people. He just didn't want them to be eaten by the octopus queen and become her energy source. However, Ling Xiao had saved them after all. Ling Xiao's horizons were broadened when he saw how shameless these fellows were. "Save us? Isn't that an honor for you? We are the great young master of the Thunder God's followers. Even without you, the octopus queen wouldn't have been able to kill us. Brat, don't tell me you still want to put up a resistance?" One of the trial challengers laughed arrogantly. As for the purple-haired young man, the so-called young master of the Thunder God, Anux, he had an indifferent look on his face, and his eyes were filled with a blazing sharpness. His entire body exuded an incomparably terrifying destructive power, locking onto Ling Xiao in front of him. It was as if as long as Ling Xiao dared to refuse, he would immediately attack. "You guys sure are confident. You repaid kindness with enmity, yet you still speak so righteously. You've really opened my eyes." Ling Xiao mocked. As for the three immortal trial takers, they didn't dare to run away, nor did they dare to stand together with the so-called Thunder God young master. They could only hide to the side and try their best to keep a distance from those idiots. However, their eyes were filled with sympathy. Perhaps they still didn't know how powerful this fiend was. What a bunch of idiots. Even a peerless emperor like the octopus queen had died in Ling Xiao's hands. Did they really think that this so-called thunder god young master Anux could defeat Ling Xiao? He was really courting death. Looks like you're not planning to hand over the heavenly filth origin pearl? Anux said indifferently with a trace of murderous intent in his eyes. I can see that the origin pearl in your body seems to be of good quality. Why don't you hand over your origin pearl to me? Ling Xiao looked at Anux with interest and smiled faintly. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in Anux's eyes. Boom. In his palm, the purple gold battle spear was surrounded by endless lightning. It was dazzling and looked like a twisting lightning dragon that pierced through the air toward Ling Xiao. His entire body exuded an incomparably terrifying power. It was a kind of destructive fluctuation that was violent and crazy. The lightning is just the surface. Destruction is the true origin? That's right. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. Anux actually cultivated the extremely rare destruction origin. Therefore, the origin pearl that he condensed should also be the destruction origin vermilion. The lightning surrounding Anux was probably the power that came with the destruction origin pearl. Boom. In the face of Anux's purple gold battle spear, Ling Xiao's eyes were like lightning as he threw out a punch. Chaotic light surged and purple gas rose 30,000 miles. It made Ling Xiao's aura become extremely terrifying in an instant. His primordial immortal body was also known as the primordial immortal body. It contained the vast and mighty power that was created at the beginning of the primordial immortal body. A casual punch could erupt with the power to annihilate everything. Clang. Sparks flew in all directions, and the void distorted violently. Unparalleled divine power surged, and the violet gold battle spear in Anux's hand began to hum. Unparalleled divine power surged, causing Anux's arm to go numb, and the battle spear almost flew out of his hand. What a powerful physical body. Anux narrowed his eyes, and the battle intent around him became even more intense. Rumble. Endless lightning surged and his purple hair fluttered. Bolts of lightning were as thick as mountains and pressed down on Ling Xiao. The purple gold battle spear in his hands was extremely sharp, and it seemed to be able to pierce through everything. In an instant, it pierced through the lightning and shot towards Ling Xiao's glabella. Ling Xiao's expression remained unchanged. He threw out a punch and went straight up. He did not dodge and faced the purple gold battle spear in Anux's hands. Clang, clang, clang. Ling Xiao's fist print was powerful and overbearing. Every punch was surrounded by endless chaotic light, as if it could split the heavens and earth apart. His fist print collided with the purple gold battle spear, and dazzling lightning intertwined, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. How is this possible? He can contend against an extreme Dao Emperor weapon with his physical body? Anux's devouring eyes were filled with disbelief. The purple gold battle spear in his hands was called the Destruction Spear. It was a powerful extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Even though it was suppressed on Eternal Emperor Road, it was still a powerful weapon. He realized that Ling Xiao did not suffer any injuries from using his fists to contend against the Destruction Spear. Occasionally, the spear radiance would pierce Ling Xiao's skin, but it would heal in an instant. Ling Xiao was like an extremely powerful extreme Dao Emperor weapon. He continuously collided with the Destruction Spear, and it seemed like he was going to suppress Anux. Moreover, the destructive lightning that filled the sky was formed by Anux's destruction origin energy. However, when it landed on Ling Xiao, it was unable to break through his defense. Instead, it was devoured by an extremely strange force. The rebounding force from the Destruction Spear was getting more and more terrifying. Anux's arms were about to lose feeling. At this moment, he finally understood how powerful Ling Xiao was. It seems like your destruction origin energy bead is really perfect. Even a 6th Heaven Emperor realm expert would not be a match for you. Let's make a deal. Hand over your destruction origin energy bead, and I will spare your life. How about that? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Chapter 31-34. Don't even think about it. Anux let out a roar as flames of fury surged in his eyes. Rumble. The aura around him was terrifying. Behind him, it was as if a black sun was rising. Streaks of God sequence chains shot through the air, wrapping around Ling Xiao. Everyone attack together and kill him. Anux roared. The dozens of trial takers under him were all trembling with fear at this moment. They were completely stunned by Ling Xiao's powerful combat strength. After hearing Anux's words, they gritted their teeth and charged towards Ling Xiao. Even though most of them were at the first or second level of the Imperial Monarch realm, they'd formed an extremely profound battle formation. Their vital energy was connected to each other, and it erupted with a peerlessly formidable sealing force. Destruction arrow destroy. Anux's eyes were filled with killing intent. Ling Xiao's strength had triggered the madness in his heart. Rumble. Mysterious runes appeared on his forehead and gathered to form an extremely mysterious arrow. It was completely black and filled with blood-red light. However, it made one's primordial spirit tremble. The mysterious arrow pierced through the void at an extremely fast speed and arrived in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes. The mysterious arrow contained an extremely terrifying destructive force. It was as if it could destroy his Yuan spirit, causing him to feel a sliver of danger in his heart. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Black chains of order intertwined around him and enveloped him in an instant. The powerful sealing power formed by the dozen or so trial takers added to Ling Xiao's body, making him look like a terrifying ancient divine mountain. Let's see how you can survive. Anux's eyes were filled with a cold smile, as if he was looking at a dead man. The destruction arrow was his destruction origin, and it was the strongest killing force that he could unleash. Once the destruction arrow was unleashed, his destruction origin bead dimmed significantly. Puff. A blood-red light seemed to bloom on Ling Xiao's forehead. In an instant, Ling Xiao was enveloped by endless light. Was that fiend really killed? The three geniuses of the immortal tribe were given a fright. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. It's hard to say. That arrow of destruction is too terrifying. I feel that if it had been shot at me, I would have definitely died. Someone said with lingering fear. You're definitely going to die, but that's not necessarily the case for that fiend. Even the ninth prince and his highness the great-grandson think highly of him. They think that he's one of the strongest people on the Eternal Emperor's road. How could he die in this backwater place? Someone said doubtfully. Just as the three of them were feeling extremely puzzled, the void suddenly vibrated as a boundless heavens might burst forth. Rumble. Dazzling light blossomed in front of everyone. Divine rays of light shot out in all directions, and auspicious vapors rose. The surrounding void seemed to have been annihilated in an instant. Endless chaotic light gushed out, and a series of crackling sounds rang out, as if some kind of restriction had been broken. A powerful force that made one feel despair swept out like a storm, and instantly swept the dozen of trial challengers away. Ling Xiao stepped out from the chaotic light. His eyes were extremely sharp and dazzling, and no one dared to look at him directly. How is this possible? You can actually block the arrow of destruction? Anux's eyes were filled with disbelief. Once his arrow of destruction was shot out, even a sixth heaven imperial monarch would definitely die. Even a high-level imperial monarch would be heavily injured. That was the origin energy that surpassed time and space. It could ignore defense and shoot the arrow of destruction directly at the opponent's primordial spirit. Even so, it was still blocked by Ling Xiao. Your arrow of destruction is not bad, but it's still too weak. Ling Xiao sneered as a dazzling light rose in his eyes. Rumble. He punched down from the sky, and the surrounding void rumbled. The unparalleled fist intent that filled the sky condensed into a vast immemorial divine mountain that locked onto Anux. Although the arrow of destruction was powerful, Ling Xiao's indestructible primordial spirit was protected by 17 origin Dao fruits, and was suppressed by the wordless heavenly book. As soon as it entered Ling Xiao's mind, it was devoured by Ling Xiao. It did not even cause a ripple. Damn it! Anux was flustered and exasperated. However, in the face of Ling Xiao's terrifying fist, he had no way to avoid it. He could only raise the spear of destruction to meet his enemy. Boom. The unparalleled fist print pressed down on the spear of destruction, and the spear of destruction vibrated violently. It instantly flew out of Anux's hand. Anux spat out a mouthful of blood as if he was struck by lightning. Boom. Ling Xiao punched down again, and the unparalleled fist intent was domineering and arrogant. The surrounding void was instantly annihilated, and Anux's eyes finally revealed a look of horror. Crack. His chest caved in, and his entire body was penetrated by Ling Xiao's punch, leaving behind a huge bloody hole. His face instantly turned pale. Scram. Ling Xiao did not turn his head. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he slapped out. The dozen or so trial takers originally struggled to come to Anux's aid, but Ling Xiao's palm covered the sky and was extremely terrifying. It directly sent all of them flying. As if they had been struck by lightning, they spat out mouthfuls of blood, and their eyes were filled with despair. Boom. 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 Ling Xiao strode across the void, as if he was moving across the heavens, and an invincible aura filled the air. A vast aura pressed down on Anux, causing Anux's face to turn even paler. You can't kill me. My elder brother is the young Lightning Emperor. If you kill me, you will be hunted down and killed on the Eternal Emperor's road. No one will be able to save you. Anux stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. The young Lightning Emperor was where his confidence came from. With such an elder brother, he had nurtured his arrogant and domineering character, and he could do whatever he wanted on the Eternal Emperor's road. Young Lightning Emperor? What a boastful tone. I really want to see if your elder brother will stand up for you after I kill you. Ling Xiao sneered, and there was a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Boom. His unparalleled fist struck down, as if he did not see the anger and resentment in Anux's eyes at all. On the Eternal Emperor's road, it was a competition between supreme talents. The winner would live, and the loser would die. There was no room for mercy. It was just like how Ling Xiao had saved Anux's followers, but Anux still wanted to kill him for the heavenly taint origin bead. The strong were respected, and there was no logic to it. Strength was the only truth. Since that was the case, he would use his invincible fists to sweep through this chaotic world. Chapter 31-35. Anux was dead. The destruction spear could not save his life, nor could the destruction arrow. He was killed by Ling Xiao with a single punch. Even his indestructible primordial spirit could not escape, and was completely destroyed. The dozen or so trial takers had also died in Ling Xiao's hands. Before they died, their eyes were filled with regret and unwillingness. If they had not been greedy for the origin bead, they would not have died. A black Dao fruit floated in Ling Xiao's palm. It was completely black and had mysterious lightning flashing around it. It contained a destructive energy fluctuation. This was the destruction Dao fruit, the source of Anuk's power. It is indeed a perfect origin Dao fruit. Looks like Anuk's identity is not simple. The young Thunder Emperor? Ling Xiao looked at the destruction Dao fruit in his palm with satisfaction. However, when he thought of the young Thunder Emperor that Anux had mentioned, he had a strange feeling in his heart. Is the young Thunder Emperor related to the Thunder Emperor? Thunder God Great World? Ling Xiao thought to himself. Through the fragmented memories, he knew that Anux came from the Thunder God Great World, and was known as the young master of the Thunder God. Anux had an older brother, Alex, who was known as the young Thunder Emperor. Alex was extremely talented and powerful. He was known as the #1 genius in the Thunder God Great World. Even the few great thousand worlds around the Thunder God Great World were overshadowed by Alex's existence. They were even conquered by the Thunder God Great World in the end. Everyone thought that the young Thunder Emperor, Alex, would one day be removed from the word young, and become the real Thunder Emperor. Alex's name was known throughout the Great Thousand Worlds, and he had developed an arrogant character. However, the tragedy was that Anux had met Ling Xiao when he had just arrived at the Eternal Emperor Road. He did not even have the chance to escape before he was killed by Ling Xiao. Swoosh! The destruction Dao fruit flew into Ling Xiao's mind between his eyebrows, and was slowly refined by Ling Xiao. The 18th Dao fruit. Ling Xiao was looking forward to the Eternal Emperor Road more and more. Perhaps he could really gather 3,000 origin source Tao fruits on the Eternal Emperor Road. My cultivation is only a step away from the fourth heaven of the Emperor Realm. However, I will need a strong opponent to break through. Ling Xiao thought to himself. His path was already set. Ling Xiao wanted to be firm in every step he took. Therefore, every time he broke through, he had to reach the pinnacle. Under the pressure of a strong opponent, he had to break through to a higher realm. The Doom Spear flew away. The real owner of the Spear of Destruction was Alex, and it was useless for Ling Xiao to stay, so he let the Spear of Destruction leave. I didn't expect to meet people from the immortal realm. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the three people from the immortal race, and said indifferently, Lord God, we are not in cahoots with them. We are very grateful to Lord God for saving our lives. We will never become enemies with Lord God. A genius from the God race said with trepidation. The fiend in front of him was indeed as vicious and merciless as the rumors said. He had killed Anux and more than a dozen of his followers. They were afraid that Ling Xiao would kill them as well. After all, with Ling Xiao's powerful battle prowess, they probably wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow from him. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Just tell me where the geniuses from the immortal realm are now. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He was a step too late, but a step too late was too late. The Eternal Emperor Road was very strange. Although it looked like a road that ran through thousands of worlds and led to the depths of chaos, it also seemed like a mysterious world. The evil spirit's memory was sometimes good and sometimes bad. Ling Xiao needed more information before he could decide what to do next. Lord God, the geniuses from the immortal realm include the Ninth Prince, His Highness Great-Grandson, the ancient experts from the 9 great immortal sects who were sealed, and some powerful geniuses from the Eternal Immortal Dynasty. They have already left, and are probably breaking through the Imperial City, and heading towards the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. We were a step too late and were transported to this wildlands. We were also unlucky enough to fall into the hands of the octopus monster. The genius from the immortal race explained honestly. Breaking through the Imperial City? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a bright light. He knew that there were a total of 108 Imperial cities on the Eternal Emperor Road. Legend had it that only by breaking through all 108 Imperial cities could one reach the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. How could the Ninth Prince and the others be so fast? Lord God, we heard that the Ninth Prince can directly locate the Imperial City. That's why they've already broken through the first Imperial City, but we've appeared in the wildlands. Another genius from the immortal race laughed bitterly. Master, I remember some information about the 108 Imperial cities. The evil spirit's voice suddenly sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. Speak. Ling Xiao said faintly. Master, the 108 Imperial cities are said to be formed by the heavenly Tao. They are meant to test the countless geniuses from all over the universe. They are both tests and opportunities. If you can break through all 108 Imperial cities, you will obtain the opportunity to become an immortal emperor. The 108 Imperial cities represent 108 supreme great Taos. If you can prove your Tao and become an immortal emperor, you will become an invincible immortal emperor and wield the great Tao origin. However, the 108 Imperial cities are different. The last 12 Imperial cities represent 12 supreme great Taos. They are the 12 great Tao origins formed by Master's 12 sky arts. The order of the 12 Imperial cities was fixed. One had to take one step at a time. Only by breaking through the 12 layers could one step reach the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. As for the other 96 Imperial cities, the order is not fixed. Geniuses from all over the universe will be randomly teleported. However, no matter which Imperial city you appear in, you must break through all 96 Imperial cities in order to reach the last 12 Imperial cities. Therefore, when the geniuses from all over the universe step onto the Eternal Emperor Road, they will cherish every minute and second. They will look for opportunities to break through the 96 Imperial cities and reach the last 12 Imperial cities. The evil spirit explained. Is that so? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He only knew that there were 108 Imperial cities on the Eternal Emperor Road, but he didn't expect there to be such a thing about them. The 108 imperial cities should be the origin secret techniques recorded in the textless heavenly tome. What does the textless heavenly tome have to do with the Eternal Emperor Road? Ling Xiao thought to himself. Chapter 31-36. After the wordless heavenly book had shattered and become a part of him, Ling Xiao had gradually comprehended all 108 origin source secret techniques under the nourishment of the origin source secret techniques. However, although the 108 origin source secret techniques contain the mysteries of the great Tao origin, their offensive power was not very strong. Therefore, Ling Xiao rarely used them and only used them to nourish his origin source Tao fruit. Now, it seemed that the 108 origin source secret techniques were not that simple. Master, it seems that we are the unluckiest ones. The place we were transported to is the wildlands of the Eternal Emperor Road. It is very far from any emperor city. The only thing we can do now is to find an emperor city before we can continue on. The evil spirit smiled bitterly. Then let's go. As long as we keep moving forward, we will find an emperor city. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. There was a hint of anticipation in his eyes as he leaped into the air and flew forward. The three immortals looked at each other and breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Ling Xiao really did not intend to kill them. They didn't dare to follow behind Ling Xiao. Instead, they headed in another direction. The Eternal Emperor Road was vast and boundless and led to the depths of the chaos. The destination was fixed, but the direction could be different. As soon as he stepped onto the Eternal Emperor Road, Ling Xiao could already feel that it wasn't an ordinary road. What he would face next would likely be dangers and bloody battles everywhere. On the Eternal Emperor Road, 100 million miles tall city floated in the chaos. It looked ancient and mysterious, flowing with the vicissitudes of time. It was eternal and immortal. Sky-piercing Emperor City. 4 ancient and mysterious words floated above the city, each containing a magnificent monarch aura. At this moment, in sky-piercing Emperor City, another figure suddenly opened his eyes. It was a young man with a head of purple hair. He had an imposing appearance and was extraordinarily handsome. Terrifying lightning flashed around him, as if he could destroy everything. His face was similar to Anuk's, but his eyes were sharper and more domineering. There was an indescribable majesty and aura about him. The young lightning emperor Anuk's. In front of him, the void trembled slightly. The destruction spear appeared in front of him, buzzing and vibrating as if it was transmitting some kind of message. Anuk's is dead. Who is so audacious? An indifferent yet dignified voice rang out like thunder, shaking the entire palace. The palace rumbled, and several figures with powerful auras outside seemed to feel Alex's anger. They all knelt down, trembling with fear. They were all followers of Alix, but they had never seen Alix so angry before. This was because there was simply no one who could anger the young Lightning Emperor. Anyone who had offended the young Lightning Emperor had already died long ago. What did they hear? Anuk's was dead? This was the young Lightning Emperor's most beloved little brother. In the entire Eternal Emperor's Road, who would dare to provoke the mighty young Lightning Emperor? He was simply courting death. Very good. I will remember you. I hope you don't die in the hands of others. I will personally break your bones one by one, and let you experience a death 10,000 times more painful than Anuk's. An incomparably cold voice sounded. Whoosh. Alex exuded an aura of destruction as he stepped out of the palace. The lightning in his eyes seemed to be able to reopen the world. Young Lightning Emperor, are we going to hunt down that thief now? A follower mustered up his courage and asked. No. Let's go to the destruction forest now. We have our own things to do. Let's break through the Sky Emperor City first. Alex said indifferently. Yes. All the followers felt a chill in their hearts and bowed in response. Although the young Lightning Emperor was angry, he did not let his anger get to his head, and chose to continue moving forward. On the Eternal Emperor's Road there was no room for retreat, and there was no room for retreat. The ultimate opportunity was the goal that everyone coveted. Although Alex was angry, he still chose to be rational. All the geniuses in the universe, from ancient times to the present, Did not want to obtain the opportunity to become an emperor and the secret of transcendence? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All the followers followed behind Alex and turned into a dazzling stream of light, traversing the void. On the Eternal Emperor's road, countless geniuses stepped into the Emperor City and accepted the challenge. They wanted to break through the Emperor City one by one and advance forward. As for Ling Xiao, he was still moving forward in the wilderness of the Eternal Emperor's road. The surrounding chaotic void was ethereal, and he could not see the Emperor City. However, danger could be seen everywhere. This was the wilderness of the Eternal Emperor's road. Although there were few people, it was more dangerous in a way. Many powerful creatures that were born on the Eternal Emperor's road loved to hunt the trial challengers and snatch their life origin and origin beads. It was inevitable that Ling Xiao would encounter many hunters and engage in battle after battle with them. Those hunters were deceived by the appearance of Ling Xiao's cultivation. In the end, all of them died at Ling Xiao's hands. Besides the hunters, there were other dangers. Powerful and strange ancient beasts, various strange insects, and even the terrifying array formed by the Origin Great Tao. Ling Xiao fought a bloody battle as he moved forward. He was also inevitably injured. His battle prowess was strong, and he was invincible among his peers. However, he was not invincible in the world. Facing those powerful hunters and strange ancient beasts, he also suffered heavy injuries. In the end, he fought a bloody battle and killed all his enemies. Ling Xiao's aura became more and more condensed. He was like an ascetic monk who had endured hardships. His aura was restrained to the extreme, and he was like an ordinary person walking on the vast chaotic ancient road. However, his eyes became brighter and sharper. It was a kind of calmness that washed away the vanity and melted all things. It was also a kind of calmness that saw through the world, and did not feel joy or sorrow. Although he did not set foot in the Emperor City, it was a rare experience for Ling Xiao. He did not know how long he walked like this. Perhaps it was a few days, a few months, or a few years. Time seemed to have become meaningless. There were no boundaries in space. The only thing Ling Xiao needed to do was to keep moving forward and fighting. And on this day he finally saw the Emperor City. In the vast chaotic void, a giant city hundreds of millions of miles tall stood under the sky, sitting on the Eternal Emperor's road. The Emperor City was taller than the sky, wider than the earth, more eternal than time, and more solid than space. Any living being, even primeval beasts, would feel their own insignificance when they saw the Imperial City. It was because this was the Eternal Imperial City. It had once traversed 108 eras, and witnessed the rise and fall of countless geniuses. It had seen all sorts of monstrous geniuses turn into dust. I finally arrived at the Emperor City, Ling Xiao murmured to himself. He stared at the giant city with a smile on his face. Chapter 31-37. Candle Dragon Imperial City. Four ancient and mysterious words floated above the ancient giant city like a divine dragon soaring in the 9 heavens, exuding a domineering and majestic aura. Ling Xiao could feel that the imperial city in front of him was exuding a vast dragon aura that was majestic and powerful. Candle Dragon Imperial City? Candle Dragon Secret Skill, ranked 6th in the Earth Fiend realm. Second only to the Origin Source secret skill of the 4 great sacred beasts. I didn't expect to come here. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he muttered to himself. Rumble. The Candle Dragon Imperial City exuded a vast and majestic aura that made any living being feel insignificant in front of it. No one knew how the Candle Dragon Imperial City was built. Even the prehistoric beasts were like ants compared to the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Ling Xiao walked towards the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Chaotic mist covered the Eternal Emperor Road. However, because of the appearance of the Candle Dragon Imperial City, Ling Xiao saw streams of flowing light sweeping across the sky. Their target was the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Those figures exuded powerful auras, and their gazes were sharp and cold. They were all supreme talents from various realms, and had been teleported to the Candle Dragon Imperial City. They wanted to enter the Candle Dragon Imperial City and challenge the Candle Dragon Imperial City, so that they could break through the imperial city. Therefore, they were racing against time, and did not rest for a moment. Are they mostly from the demon clan? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He could sense that most of those geniuses were members of the demon race. Their bodies were surrounded by demon qi, and their blood was boiling. Various mysterious and unfathomable phenomena were manifested. Of course, Ling Zhao felt that those supreme talents were unfamiliar. Perhaps they were not from the demon world. The demon clan was extremely large and spread across the heavens. Many powerful demon clans could open up a great thousand world and become ancestors. In comparison, the demon world had declined. Ever since the demon emperor fell, the demon clans in the demon world were struggling at death's door. Even the 5 great sacred tribes had suffered heavy losses. Therefore, the demon world was not taken seriously by those powerful demon clans. Maybe I can see Old Goat, Taoist Wuliang, and White Dragon Horse. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a smile, and he was looking forward to it. Rumble. Just then, a few figures riding on golden horned dragon beasts arrived. Their auras were extremely powerful, and their eyes were cold and domineering. The people along the way all stepped aside. After sensing their powerful auras, they all knew that these people were not easy to deal with. They were 9 cold-faced young men. They looked somewhat similar, as if they were twins. They wore black armor, and the blood in their bodies surged. Above their heads, shadows of black dragons were intertwined. The roars of the dragons were endless, and the pressure was incomparably terrifying. They held all sorts of weapons in their hands. Even the weakest amongst them was at the 3rd heaven of the Imperial Monarch realm. The strongest amongst them was even at the advanced Imperial Monarch realm. This was an incomparably powerful force. The surrounding trial takers all made way for them. In the end, only Ling Zhao stood in front of them. Scram! A loud shout was heard. One of the young men in black armor looked cold, and he was surrounded by an ominous aura. The long whip in his hand was like a poisonous dragon, and it pierced through the void and lashed towards Ling Zhao. They were extremely fast, and they did not stop. The golden horned dragon beast charged towards Ling Zhao, and its sharp beast claws looked like they were going to pierce through Ling Zhao's chest. Ah! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a cold light. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the long black whip. At the same time, he kicked out in the air towards the golden horned dragon beast. Ling Zhao did not want to cause trouble, but it did not mean that he did not dare to. These people seemed to be used to being arrogant, and they acted as if they were number 1 in the world. They wanted to gain the upper hand and crush everyone who stood in their way. Ling Zhao naturally did not want to be their stepping stone. You're courting death. The young man in black armor looked cold, and the long black whip in his hand shone with a blazing light. In an instant, it was like a hedgehog, and sharp spikes grew out of it. It then lashed towards Ling Zhao's face at an even faster speed. The long black whip in his hand was a unique treasure. Although it was not an ultimate emperor weapon, it was extremely powerful. Who would dare to take it head-on? In his opinion, Ling Zhao's arm would be crippled very soon. Boom! The void shook, and there was an explosion. Ling Zhao looked calm, and he grabbed the long black whip. His unparalleled divine power exploded, and the spikes on the long whip burst into pieces. At that moment, Ling Zhao's leg landed on the golden horned dragon beast. The golden horned dragon beast had an extraordinary cultivation, and it was charging towards Ling Zhao with a terrifying divine power. Ordinary people would not dare to take it head-on. However, Ling Zhao's kick landed on its chest. In an instant, all the bones in its body were shattered, and it was like a pile of mud. It let out a shrill cry and exploded. What? The black-armored youth's eyes revealed a trace of shock. Before he could react, Ling Zhao's unparalleled divine power exploded. He grabbed the long black whip, and the young man in black armor flew towards Ling Zhao uncontrollably. Slap! Ling Zhao slapped the young man in black armor, and half of his face swelled up. Blood spurted from his mouth. You are courting death. The young man in black armor was furious, and his eyes were filled with hatred. However, before he could finish his sentence, he could no longer continue. Ling Zhao's figure appeared in front of him like a bolt of lightning. He stretched out his hand and grabbed his neck, lifting him up. He did it so casually, as though he was picking up a little chick. When the young man in black armor saw Ling Xiao's cold eyes, his heart quivered, and he fell silent. How dare you? Let go of ninth brother. Brat, how dare you offend the 9 dragon kings? You are dead meat, and no one can save you. The remaining 8 young men in black armor surrounded Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with killing intent, and they were extremely cold. They had originally wanted to watch the show, but they had not expected Ling Xiao to be so ruthless. In an instant he had subdued the 9 dragon king. Which tribe is this young man from? How dare he offend the 9 dragon king of the winged dragon tribe? The 9 dragon kings are the 9 geniuses of the winged dragon tribe. They are extremely powerful and domineering, and no one dares to offend them. I'm afraid this young man is in trouble. That's right. Private fights are not allowed in the Candle Dragon Imperial City. However, this young man will die in their hands before he can enter the city. What a pity, the surrounding cultivators discussed, and their eyes were filled with different emotions. The 9 great dragon lords were famous amongst this group of people. Therefore, even if the 9 great dragon lords were arrogant and domineering, these trial challengers could only endure it, no matter how arrogant they were. Ling Xiao's cultivation level did not seem high. Although he had subdued the 9 dragon king in one move, the crowd was only slightly surprised. They did not think that he could defeat the 9 dragon kings. Chapter 31-38. What if I let him go? Will you let me go? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He glanced at the 8 figures around him. His expression was extremely calm, without the slightest hint of fear. However, in the ears of the 9 dragon lords, his words sounded like a sign of weakness. Let you go? How is that possible? Who dares to offend the 9 dragon lords is still alive. Let 9th brother go, and we can leave your corpse intact. One of the dragon lords sneered. Kid, you're the one who doesn't know your place. How dare you think you can escape unscathed? Let me go and kneel down to apologize. Maybe my brothers will let you go if they're in a good mood. The 9 dragon lord in Ling Xiao's hand sneered. He was infuriated. Being held in the hands of Ling Xiao was a great humiliation. He swore to himself that he would torture Ling Xiao later. Since you won't let me go, your 9th brother can go to hell. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Crack. Unparalleled divine power erupted from his hand and crushed the 9 dragons lord's neck. Then he punched out in the air. The primal chaos fist imprint could suppress everything. Caught off guard, the 9 dragons lord was blasted into a bloody mist. The blazing heaven-devouring fire engulfed the blood mist in an instant, sealing the 9 dragons lord's indestructible primordial spirit and Tao fruit within. All of this happened naturally. It was so fast that no one was able to react in time. However, they were all stunned. They did not expect Ling Xiao to kill 9 dragon lord in the blink of an eye. Despite looking like he was about to beg for mercy, the 9 dragon lords were one of the 9 sky prides of the winged dragon tribe. He had just stepped onto the Eternal Emperor's road, and one of them had already been killed. This kid is dead meat. Everyone thought to themselves. They looked at Ling Xiao as though they were looking at a dead man. The 8 dragon monarchs were stunned as well. They had not expected Ling Xiao to kill the 9 dragon monarchs so ruthlessly. However, they quickly reacted and were instantly enraged. Their eyes were surging with monstrous fury and murderous intent. You're courting death. Brat, how dare you kill my 9th brother? Pay with your life. Kill him. The 8 dragon monarchs were enraged. The killing intent in their eyes seemed to have materialized, and they were about to strike at Ling Xiao. The 8 golden horn dragon beasts roared furiously, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. Terrifying killing intent intertwined like a storm, enveloping Ling Xiao in the center. 9 dragon lords? Today, I'll turn you into 9 dead dragons. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. His eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. Although he had killed the 9th dragon lord, the 8 dragon lords before him were still extremely strong. Their auras intertwined, and Ling Xiao felt a lot of pressure. Perhaps he could rely on the strength of the 8 dragon monarchs to break through to the 4th level of the imperial monarch realm? Chaotic light rose around Ling Xiao's body as a majestic aura spread out, preparing for an earth-shattering battle. "In Yilong, we haven't even entered the Candle Dragon Imperial City, and you're already acting so presumptuously here?" An ethereal and pleasant voice rang out in the void. Wang. The void trembled slightly, and a bright and holy light spread out. 7 figures came out of the chaotic mist. The 7 figures were all beautiful women with extraordinary temperaments. They were ethereal and untainted, like fairies from the 9 heavens. Their faces were exquisite and perfect as though they had been blessed by the Creator. They were flawless and breathtakingly beautiful. Their eyes were bright and resplendent, as if they contained a world of their own. They flickered with a myriad of colors, illuminating the Eternal Emperor's road. Most importantly, they had a pair of holy wings on their backs. They were as thin as a cicada's wings and looked flawless. It added a mysterious aura to them. "They are from the Feather Tribe?" Someone trembled and couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Feather Tribe? Could they be the tribe that Emperor Yu is from in the legends? Emperor Yu is the only remaining great emperor expert in the universe. The Feather Tribe is also a peerless sovereign tribe. How did they come to the Eternal Emperor Road? These 7 women seem to be the 7 fairies of the Feather Tribe. The one who spoke just now must be Fairy Jinghong. Some people recognized the identities of the 7 women and started to discuss them. Many people looked at them with eyes full of infatuation and passion. After all, the Feather Tribe was famous for their many beauties. However, no one dared to do anything to the Feather Tribe because of Emperor Yu. However, if one could gain the favor of the fairies of the Feather Tribe, it would be a meteoric rise. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao with jealousy. They did not expect him to know the fairies of the Feather Tribe. No wonder he dared to kill the 9th Dragon Lord. Feather Tribe? Why would they stand up for me? A bright light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he felt a little puzzled. He had heard of the Feather Tribe before. It was an extremely mysterious tribe. They lived in seclusion and rarely appeared in the universe. However, he did not know anyone from the Feather Tribe. Why would the 7 fairies stand up for him? Fairy Jinghong? The 8 dragon monarchs shuddered. When they saw the Feather race, their eyes were filled with fear and passion. The Feather Tribe had Emperor Yu, which was not something the Winged Dragon Tribe could compare to. Ing Yilong, the Great Dragon Lord, had once proposed to the Feather Tribe to marry Fairy Jinghong. However, Fairy Jinghong had rejected him mercilessly. He took it as a great humiliation. He did not expect the Feather Tribe to stand up for Ling Xiao as soon as they appeared. "In Yilong, the Candle Dragon Imperial City is right in front of you. The test has not even begun. Are you trying to show off here?" Fairy Jinghong said calmly. Even though the Feather Race Fairy was beautiful, she was still the most outstanding of the 7 fairies. Her veil danced in the wind. Her figure was graceful, and her beauty was unparalleled. "This brat killed my brother. He must die today. What I do has nothing to do with you, fairy. Could it be that this brat is related to you in some way?" Ing Yilong said with a cold smile. Everyone's expression immediately changed. They couldn't help but look at Ling Xiao and Fairy Jinghong. Ling Xiao's robe was as white as snow. He was handsome and had an extraordinary aura. Many of the Sky Prides thought that this handsome man might have a story with Fairy Jinghong. However, Fairy Jinghong was not angry at Ing Yilong's provocation. Instead, she said calmly, "I have nothing to do with him. I just can't stand your arrogance. Either you get into the Candle Dragon Imperial City now, or you don't have to." Fairy Jinghong's voice was calm and pleasant. However, there was an indescribable domineering aura in it that attracted everyone's attention. Chapter 31-39. You. Ing Yilong was infuriated and his face turned ugly. However, he did not dare to fall out with Fairy Jinghong. Although Fairy Jinghong's cultivation was similar to his, they were both high-level imperial emperors. However, there was an extremely talented ancient Sky Pride among the Feather Tribe. That ancient Sky Pride was the most outstanding existence in the universe. Ing Yilong did not dare to offend Fairy Jinghong. "Kid, I didn't expect you to be related to the Feather Tribe. However, what kind of ability is it to hide behind a woman? Just you wait." I don't believe that Fairy Jinghong can protect you forever. Ing Yilong looked at Ling Xiao coldly. The killing intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. Let's go. The 8 dragon lords also looked ugly. Killing intent filled their bodies as they rode on their golden horn dragon beasts and left for Candle Dragon Imperial City. I really don't know them. Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. He rubbed his nose and felt a little wronged. Why did the mysterious feather tribe treat him differently? Was it because he was too handsome? At this moment, Jinghong Fairy walked towards Ling Xiao. Her eyes were cold and she sized Ling Xiao up with a sense of scrutiny. You are Ling Xiao? An ethereal and cold voice sounded. Ling Xiao was stunned. You know me? He did not expect that this Fairy Jinghong of the Feather Clan could actually call out his real name. Heaven's chosen one, Ling Xiao. You possess the heavenly fate chi, and are known as the person with the highest chance of becoming an emperor in this era. However, it seems like you are a disappointment. There are too many geniuses who have yet to grow up. Without becoming an emperor, you are just a pile of bones. Your cultivation is inferior to the 9 dragon lords. You should not have provoked them. Otherwise, it would be a joke if you died on Eternal Emperor Road. Fairy Jinghong said coldly. The meaning behind her words was very clear. In her opinion, Ling Xiao was not a match for the 9 dragon monarchs at all. He should have endured and not provoked them. Otherwise, he would only end up dead. Although he had good intentions, why did these words sound so harsh? Fairy Jinghong, although I don't want to embarrass you, I still want to tell you that even if you don't show up, they can't do anything to me. Ling Xiao said very calmly. His eyes were clear and indifferent, as if he was stating a fact. What he said was the truth. If there were no feather race members, perhaps Ling Xiao could make use of this battle to break through to the 4th heaven of the Imperial Lord realm. Although the 9 dragon lords were powerful, they did not pose much of a threat to Ling Xiao. However, in the ears of the feather women, his words sounded like he didn't know what was good for him. Their expressions turned cold. What an ungrateful bastard. If not for Big Sister stopping Ing Yilong, you would have died in the hands of the 9 dragon sovereigns. How dare you spout such arrogant words? A pretty young girl glared at Ling Xiao. That's right. You are only a 3rd heaven of the Imperial Lord realm. Even if you were lucky enough to kill the 9th dragon lord. Do you really think that the 8 dragon lords are so weak? Based on what you said, Big Sister saved you but delayed you instead? Another feather race girl sneered. That is how it is. Ling Xiao muttered to himself softly. His voice was barely audible. What did you say? Ling Xiao's words were like poking a hornet's nest. Instantly the 6 feather race girls were enraged. Their expressions turned even colder. Forget it. Since he doesn't want to listen, let him be. Ling Xiao, I hope you know what to do. Fairy Jinghong stopped the 6 feather race girls and said to Ling Xiao indifferently. Then she turned to leave. Wait. Ling Xiao took a step forward and stopped Fairy Jinghong. Is there anything else? Fairy Jinghong frowned slightly. Fairy Jinghong, may I ask where you know my name? Ling Xiao looked straight into Fairy Jinghong's eyes and asked. I can't tell you. However, I have one last thing to tell you. There is no absolute strength on the Eternal Emperor's path. You have to be careful, lest you offend someone you shouldn't offend and end up dead. Moreover, your old friends will worry about you. Fairy Jinghong said indifferently. Old friend? Ling Xiao's heart jumped. Just as he had guessed, an old friend of his must have told the feather race about his story. That was why Fairy Jinghong came out to protect him. I wonder who this old friend of mine is. Seeing that Fairy Jinghong was unwilling to say more, Ling Xiao did not force her. He cupped his hands with a smile and watched them leave for the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Many of the challengers looked at Ling Xiao with doubtful gazes, but no one dared to step forward and say anything to him. Be it the Winged Dragon tribe or the Feather race, they could not afford to offend them. Therefore, the best thing to do was to stay away from Ling Xiao to avoid being implicated. After all, Ling Xiao had killed the 9th dragon god. The 8 dragon gods would definitely not let Ling Xiao go. Ling Xiao did not mind. Light flickered in his palm, and a black Dao fruit appeared. It was emitting a strange glow. Winged Dragon Dao Fruit? It's a pity that this Winged Dragon Dao Fruit is incomplete and not perfect. Otherwise, It could be my 19th Dao fruit. Ling Xiao mumbled to himself. Master, the Dao fruits of the 8 dragon gods must be the winged dragon Dao fruit. If you kill them all, the 9 winged dragon Dao fruits will merge into one and become the perfect winged dragon Dao fruit. The evil spirit said eagerly. Kill the 8 dragon gods? That's too cruel. We're not bandits. Why would we do something like that? If they don't provoke me, I don't mind sparing their lives. Ling Xiao said with a sigh. Hypocrite. You even killed their 9th brother. It would be strange if they let you go. The evil spirit cursed in his heart but did not have the courage to say it out loud. Let's go. Let's see what the test in the Candle Dragon Imperial City is. Oh, Lingxi said with an indifferent smile, a glimmer of light flashing in her eyes. Rumble. The Candle Dragon Imperial City was located on the Eternal Emperor Road. Chaotic mist filled the air, and lightning intertwined. It looked majestic. The closer they got to the Candle Dragon Imperial City, the more they could feel the vast pressure from the city. It made Ling Xiao's heart palpitate. The city walls of the Candle Dragon Imperial City were grayish-brown. However, it was impossible to tell what material it was made of. It was modeled with the power of time, but did not have any aura of decay. It was eternal and immortal. I wonder who built the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Chapter 3140. The gate of Candle Dragon Imperial City was tens of thousands of feet tall, sturdy and heavy. The gate was wide open, and there were powerful warriors in black armor standing guard on both sides. Their eyes were cold and murderous. They were all warriors who had experienced hundreds of battles, and were extremely powerful. Although the genius trial takers from all over the universe had their own pride, they had to be careful when they sensed the aura of those powerful warriors. They lined up obediently to enter the city. Private fights are prohibited in Candle Dragon Imperial City. Those who dare to disobey will be killed immediately. Those who enter Candle Dragon Imperial City must follow the orders of the Guardian. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. Those who dare to burn, kill, and rob in Candle Dragon Imperial City will be killed without mercy. 3 days later, the contents of the test will be revealed in the central square of Candle Dragon Imperial City. Those who pass the test can leave Candle Dragon Imperial City. Those who are unwilling to participate in the test will be killed without mercy. A black-armored warrior was clearly the leader of the guards. He was extremely powerful and had reached the high-level Imperial Emperor realm. His eyes were like lightning as he scanned the crowd. He held a bamboo scroll in his hand and read the contents in a thunderous voice. Hearing the words "kill without mercy," everyone was shocked. Guardian? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with light. He did not expect there to be a guardian in Candle Dragon Imperial City. The guardian is chosen by the heavenly Dao. The powerful beings on the Eternal Emperor Road are the guardians. Those who guard the Imperial City are also experts from various races. The evil spirit explained. Beings on the Eternal Emperor Road? Don't they know how to snatch the opportunities? Ling Xiao asked. It is said that the creatures on the Eternal Emperor's Road are cursed by the heavenly Dao, and will never be able to become emperors. Therefore, the Eternal Emperor's Road's opportunities and secrets of transcendence are of no use to them. On the contrary, if they are loyal to their duty and guard the Imperial City, they will be rewarded by the heavenly Dao when the Eternal Emperor Road ends. The evil spirit said. I see. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Ling Xiao followed the crowd of trial challengers and entered the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Candle Dragon Imperial City was unexpectedly bustling, which almost made Ling Xiao think that he had come to a city in the mortal world. On both sides of the wide street, there were many shops. Young men were shouting at the door, trying their best to attract customers. After obtaining the treasures, some individual cultivators immediately set up stalls on both sides of the street to trick the trial takers who passed by. Ling Xiao felt that this scene was very familiar. Are they all from the Eternal Emperor Road? Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. He could understand the situation. It was not easy for living beings on the Eternal Emperor Road to obtain cultivation resources. On the Eternal Emperor Road, the source energy was very thin, so it was difficult for them to improve their cultivation base even after countless years of cultivation. However, on the Eternal Emperor's Road, there were many heavenly treasures that could not be found anywhere else in the universe. These were exactly what the trial challengers and geniuses needed. This was especially true for the truly expensive origin beads. They might not be of much use to the living beings on the Eternal Emperor Road, but to the various world's trial takers and prodigies, they were supreme treasures that could increase their strength. As a result, the imperial city became a bustling place for trade. Origin bead? Perhaps I can buy some origin beads in the imperial city? Ling Zhao's eyes lit up as he looked at the stalls on both sides of the street. On those stalls, there were some heavenly treasures, some specialties of the chaos, and even more origin beads. However, without exception, those origin beads were all of mediocre and lower quality. Ling Zhao did not even see a single perfect origin bead. I should be able to buy a perfect origin bead in the Candle Dragon Imperial City, right? Ling Zhao thought to himself. Mediocre and lower quality origin beads were of no use to him. If he wanted to refine and integrate an origin bead, it had to be a perfect origin bead. Only then could his cultivation base increase without any hidden dangers. Ling Zhao walked forward at the thought of this. He strolled around the Candle Dragon Imperial City, and finally stopped in front of a grand and imposing palace. Fortune Pavilion. The Fortune Pavilion was very imposing and dazzling. The servants inside were all at the heavenly venerate realm. Most of the customers coming in and out were extremely powerful trial challengers and sky prides. The Fortune Pavilion must be one of the bigger treasure trading hubs in the Candle Dragon Imperial City. Sir, welcome to the Fortune Pavilion. Seeing Ling Zhao walk towards the Fortune building, a handsome servant immediately came forward to welcome him. The servant was dressed in black, and was at the first heaven of the Imperial Lord realm. There was a mysterious chaotic aura around him. He was a living being from the Eternal Emperor Road. His eyes were sharp and he could tell that Ling Zhao was extraordinary at a glance. He immediately came forward to welcome him warmly. What's in the Fortune Pavilion? Ling Zhao asked indifferently as he sized up the Fortune building. Sir, the Fortune Pavilion is the biggest treasure pavilion in the Candle Dragon Imperial City. It contains everything in the world and contains countless Fortune Realm treasures. There are branches of the Fortune Pavilion in most of the 108 imperial cities. The servant in black said proudly. It's a chain? Ling Zhao was slightly taken aback. It seemed like he had come to the right place. The Fortune Pavilion must have the treasures he needed. His heart was filled with anticipation. Is there an origin bead? Ling Zhao asked. Origin bead? Of course. May I know what kind of origin bead you need? Our Fortune Pavilion has low-grade, middle-grade, and high-grade origin pearls. The servant in black nodded. I only need a perfect origin bead. Ling Zhao said calmly. Perfect origin bead? The servant in black shuddered, and he immediately gave Ling Zhao a deep look. Why? There aren't any perfect origin beads in the Fortune Pavilion? Ling Zhao frowned. Young master, our Fortune Pavilion naturally has perfect origin pearls. However, you should know that after the Eternal Emperor Road opens, countless trial challengers will enter the Eternal Emperor Road. Origin beads are in high demand. Perfect origin beads are especially expensive. The servant in black said awkwardly. Expensive? Don't worry. As long as I'm satisfied with the origin beads, origin pills are not a problem. Ling Zhao said calmly. Origin pills were the hard currency on the Eternal Emperor Road. On the Eternal Emperor Road, the origin source energy was thin. Hence, the living beings on the Eternal Emperor Road needed origin source pills very much. As for the powerful trial challengers, they had to go through countless battles and needed origin pills to replenish their energy. However, Ling Zhao's path was different from theirs. The primordial immortal body could devour everything and the energy in his body was endless. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.